Chapter 841 Times are coming together. Jinbei joined by Fishman Island is not listed here for the time being, but even if it is already quite scary. As the only supernova with a bounty of 500 million, Straw Hat Luffy has already walked in front of all supernovas. After all, Eustace Kid, the strongest before, had a bounty of 470 million, 30 million less than him. It's not the worst era, it's really powerful. The entire Straw Hat Pirates are about to have a bounty of over 100 million per capita. The three giants, which will be called the four giants in the future, are all powerful existences with a bounty of over 100 million. This level of strength has indeed ranked first in the supernova. The rest of the supernova pirates, including the captain, only have 2 members with a bounty of over 100 million, but there are no 4 members with a bounty of over 100 million. It's finally here, the Straw Hat owner. In a certain coffee shop, a man in black clothes, with a sullen look and a spotted hat, said this lowly. "Doflamingo, your day is coming soon." This man said so, he looked only in his 20s. It's none other than Shichibukai Trafalco. Ha ha ha, the bounty has gone up again, I'm so happy. Looking at their bounty, Luffy and his party were so excited they couldn't help themselves. Oh, Jinbei joined the Straw Hat Pirates, interesting. Shajirching looked at the surrender letter from Jinbei in his hand, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Then let me see if you, who are on the Sunny, the king of beasts, can reach Laruda faster than me. With a wave of his hand, the surrender letter was broken. Shajirching looked at the sky and said, "The turbulent sea, hee, what other surprises will it bring me?" With the return of various pirate groups that served Shajirching got more and more historical texts. He knows more and more about the world. Therefore, he became more and more interested in this world. Dabalu Island. Yo Karina, long time no see. In a certain restaurant, Karina and Nami meet. It's such a coincidence to meet you here. It's great, Nami. Karina gave Nami a deep hug and said. Coincidence. However, Nami laughed when she heard this, and there was an inexplicable aura of a superior. I'm here to wait for you. Hearing this, Karina's smile froze and said, Why do you have to wait for me? Luffy and the others were all vigilant at once. Well, take it easy, I won't hurt you. I just wanted to ask you to help me see that the nautical charts of Dabalu Island are not standard. You are the person I recognize, I can rest assured that I am looking for you, and the quality is guaranteed. Nami said what she wanted, and Luffy and the others immediately lifted their hostility. This beautiful lady, can you show me your panty? The actor Brooke went online again and said seriously to Nico Robin. No, Nicole Robin also solemnly refused. Then, bang! Nami shouted as if roaring, How can there be an unreasonable request to look at girls' panties, you bastard? Brooke, who I saw, was punched into the floor by Nami and whimpered softly. So sturdy. Seeing this scene, Usopp and others couldn't help thinking like this in their hearts. Hee, what an interesting existence, a talking skeleton, the sea really is incomparably wide. Nicole Robin is a sweet issho, and she can't take her eyes off the soul of Sanji Kurozu. Yeah, a very interesting person, I thought so too. Luffy laughed in agreement, innocent and innocent. Do you think others are interesting? Don't you invite others when you see them being rare? Ji Liang, Usopp and others complained in their hearts. It's a very good team. Looking at them, Robin couldn't help but think of Saul's words. On the vast sea, you will definitely be able to find a partner to protect you. Robin, don't give up. Fortunately, he had already found it before that. Karina and Nami had a heated discussion about the nautical chart. And the others in Luffy are happily holding a small banquet. Around them, surrounded by a group of pirates, from all over the world. Is that the Straw Hat Luffy? It's thinner than I imagined. It's hard to imagine that this man has such terrifying strength. The pirates around looked at Luffy's small arms and legs, it was hard to imagine that he could have such a powerful strength. But have you heard? The prize set by the Summer Chamber of Commerce in the arena is a devil fruit. I have heard that it is said to be a devil fruit in the form of a cat and a lion, and the price is nearly 200 million Bailey. I am really looking forward to it. I don't know who can get this devil fruit. Yes, that is a miracle fruit that can instantly enhance one's strength. Even if there are various side effects, it doesn't matter. The surrounding pirates all began to discuss in a low voice, which also attracted the attention of Luffy and the others. Curry, the ship doctor of the Straw Hat Pirates who has never been on the scene, can't help but sigh with emotion. The artificial devil fruit is really amazing. He is the apprentice of Kukaros, with excellent medical skills. The better the medical skills, the more he understands how difficult it is to do this. I heard that all kinds of pirates in the sea have gathered here, and the target is this devil fruit. Of course, after all, this is something produced by the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and it is normal to cause competition. The pirates around are quite excited and eager to try. And outside Dabalu Island, people from various forces have all gathered here. Their composition is quite complicated. Some are from the 6 Emperor Pirates, some are from the world government, some are from the Revolutionary Army, and even the underground forces are here. It can be described as a meeting of the wind and clouds. Near 9 Snake Island. Being here has already proved your strength, but, Hammer Beardy, why do you want to join me? With a supernova like you, shouldn't everyone be arrogant and rebellious? I rarely join other pirates, even if it's an Emperor-level pirate. I'm curious about your purpose, Beardy, can you tell me? Shajir-Ching looked at Beardy, who took the initiative to seek refuge in front of him, and said, because I offended the 6th Emperor Bigumum, in order to survive, I have to join you. Although my strength is not strong, I am still a little bit of combat power. Joining you can also play some role. So, here I am. After all, it is a supernova. Even in the face of a sea emperor like Shajir-Ching, he is neither humble nor arrogant. Chapter 842 Momonosuke Must Die. Hee, very good, I like your reason very much. After listening, Shajir-Ching smiled and agreed to Beardy's request to join. Just as Shajir-Ching approved Beardy's matter, the phone bug rang on his body. What's the matter, what happened? The phone bug on him doesn't ring often, but when it rings, it means something important is happening. A calm voice came from the other end of the phone bug. Lord Shajir-Ching, Sky Island has been invaded. Hearing this calm voice tell such a serious matter, Shajir-Ching's forehead suddenly knitted together. And then, who was the intruder? Did he cause casualties? What was the identity of the intruder? 3 consecutive questions. This lets ask Shajir-Ching's people to come and see it in person. The voice on the other end of the phone bug was a little weird, and Shajir-Ching's brows suddenly became even tighter. Come on, follow me to Sky Island. Shajir-Ching greeted Billy and his crew and set off on a journey to Sky Island. 10 minutes later. What's the matter, Gilzer, why do you want me to see it myself? Shajir-Ching came directly to Giles's intelligence department, and he was the one who reported the news to Shajir-Ching on the other end of the phone just now. How can I say it? The intruders are too weird. There is no detection. They appeared in front of us. Looking at their identities, they seem to be a father and son. And their clothes look a bit like Wano-Kuni's. The father is a man who can use flaming swordsmanship. As for the son, he seems to be a powerless existence. Jilzi's face was a little weird and half ashamed and said that it was a great dereliction of duty to let 2 people of unknown origin invade the Sky Island headquarters base. But to be able to invade without touching their detection system, he must be a master. Not to mention a hostile force like Wano-Kuni. But after the real fight, it's not like that. Eno fought against him and captured the man dressed as his father in 3 or 2 moves, making him feel very unhappy. Hearing Giles's description, Shajir-Ching couldn't help but think of a person. As the man dressed by his father Kinemon. Shajir-Ching looked at Giles and asked. Now, it was Giles's turn to be surprised. Lord Shajir-Ching knows them. I don't know. Shajur-Ching shook his head with a smile, and in Jeers' surprised eyes, he said, but I have heard of his name. He is the subordinate of Wano Kuni's predecessor Kuri, and he is a very good swordsman. An LT, P and GT. Most importantly, he should be from the future. The person with the same son should be the son of the former Kuri daimyo Kazuki Oden, Kazuki Momonosuke. Gills couldn't help being a little shocked when he heard it, from the future. And this operation. Is such a thing possible? It's so weird. Let's go and have a look. Didn't expect them to land on my island, it's so funny. Hearing this, Gills immediately took Shajur-Ching to the place where Momonosuke and Kinemon were located. Let me go, let me out. When Shajur-Ching and the two arrived, they heard Momonosuke's terrified voice. Yo, Master Captain, you can count, these two people are really annoying, but they make my head a big noise. Enel saw Shajur-Ching, his eyes lit up as if he saw a savior. Hee, hard work, leave the rest to me. Shajur-Ching Isho, Enel left immediately, he looked at Momonosuke, and Kinemon left. Before Kinemon could speak, Shajur-Ching said, it feels very bad to be chased by Kaido. Foxfire Kinemon. Do you want me to give Momonosuke to him in exchange for what I want? This sentence directly made Kinemon's face turn pale, and his pupils were condensed together. Who are you? Why do you know my identity? Kinemon's mind was, could they be exposed? Shajur-Ching, hee, don't worry, the only people in this world who know your identities are Kaido, Kurozumi Orochi and me. Your identities are still quite mysterious. Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, Kinemon breathed a sigh of relief and at the same time raised his courage. Are you Kaido or Kurozumi Orochi's subordinate? From Kinemon's point of view, the only people who know him are Kaido and Kurozumi Orochi's subordinates. He said in his heart, damn, why is the luck so bad, and it fell into the enemy's sphere of influence, I'm really not reconciled. Kaido's men. But after hearing his words, Shajur-Ching laughed, and Jeers also laughed, as if he heard a joke. This made Kinemon's head full of question marks, is he wrong? Kaido is a defeated player, do you have the ability to let me be his subordinate? Shajur-Ching glanced at Kinemon, but said something that shocked him. A defeated general. Kinemon was startled by Shajur-Ching's words. Then, as if he saw some hope, he suddenly knelt down and asked, Your Excellency, can you do me a favor? After this is done, I will. No, I refuse. Before he could finish, he was rejected by Shajur-Ching. Do you want me to help you defeat Kaido? Or Kurozumi Orochi? Or, find your buddies scattered all over the place? Looking at the sluggish Kinemon, I'm sorry, I'm not going to help you. After all, I'm not familiar with you, and you can't generate any value for me. The most important reason is that he hates Momonosuke. Even though his father Kazuki Oden and Whitebeard used to be brothers. Looking at Shajur-Ching who always had a smile on his face, Kinemon asked fiercely, Who are you? Why are you so clear about our affairs, and what is your relationship with Kaido? Want to know? Shajur-Ching suddenly approached Kinemon and said with a bewitched look. Kinemon nodded. But I don't want to tell you. Shajur-Ching showed a devilish smile, got up and walked away again. You. Kinemon got a little out of temper by Shajur-Ching's operation. Shajur-Ching sat down cross-legged again, still smiling, but in Kinemon's eyes, he was extremely unfathomable. If you want to defeat Kaido, you can't do it with your strength. Lord Kinemon. Even with you and Leizang, plus Kanjuro, and the rest of you Red Sheath 9, it's impossible to shake Kaido's hair. He is now the emperor who reigns in the New World. He is so powerful that the pirates in the world tremble, and his troops are strong. He is a true existence of the Marine headquarters. Chapter 843 Don't I look like a strong man? I'm afraid that your troops are not enough to tickle him. It's impossible to beat him to avenge your name, Kazuki Oden. Not only can you not get revenge, but you may implicate Kazuki Momonosuke behind you and let him die. Hearing this, Kinemon couldn't help it again, grabbing the iron rod of the cell. Who the hell are you and why are you so clear about our affairs? Why should I tell you? Unless you tell me something I want to know. In exchange, I'll tell you what you want to know. Equivalent exchange has always been the case. What do you want to know? Kinemon asked with a gloomy expression. Do you Wanokuni know some of the secrets of this world? For example, the historical text of the 4 road signs. Shajirching's eyes suddenly lit up, full of anticipation. Naturally I know. Kinemon's first sentence made Shajirching happy. But Kinemon's next sentence made him linger for a while. However, do you intend to let me tell it like this? Having said that, Kinemon glanced at the environment he was in, meaning to ask Shajirching to change them into a better environment. Hehe, it should be. Shajirching, Isho, gave Gills a look. The latter immediately arranged for the people around to take the 2 of Kinemon out, and put on another treatment. In the pantry. Tell me, Lord Kinemon, what is the answer I want to know? Shajirching asked while nibbling on the melon seeds. I don't know if the location has changed after so many years. I can only give you an approximate location, but I can't give you the exact location. If you can't accept it, then there's nothing you can do. Kinemon said, very serious, but he panicked in his heart. Shajirching's power is too strong, which fills his heart with unease. That's right, that's it. Momonosuke also repeated it, looking quite serious, but his voice trembled. Don't worry, as long as you give me an approximate location, I will definitely be able to find it. It can't be buried in the sea tens of thousands of meters. Shajirching leaned back on the chair with a confident face and said. You can keep your promise, right? Kinemon looked at Shajirching and confirmed again. Shajirching looked at him unequivocally. Do you have other better options? Kinemon was at a loss for words. He seemed to have no choice at all. With suspicion, he informed Shajirching of the locations of the 4 historical texts. Why would he know? That's naturally because he heard Kazuki Odin say it. And Kazuki Odin, who has been to Laugh Tale, made up, the plot needs. After getting Shajirching's promise, Kinemon began to tell Shajirching everything he knew about the historical text. This process lasted about half an hour. Very well, Kinemon, you are a cheerful person. I just hope you didn't lie to me with what you said just now, otherwise, you will be clear about the consequences. Shajirching got up and looked very good at talking. However, Kinemon and Momonosuke don't think so. If Shajirching was good at talking, would they be in such a situation? Of course not. It's time for you to tell us how you found out who we are. Kinemon looked at Shajirching, his eyes were quite vigilant. Well, if I were a prophet from the future, like your wife Toki, Momonosuke's mother, wouldn't you think I was joking? Shajirching said seriously. Are you a time traveler? Hearing this answer, Kinemon immediately stood up in surprise. It's not all true, but that's about it. Shajirching thought for a while. He was a traveler and a prophet, and it is not an exaggeration to say that he is a time traveler. No, please continue. Kinemon certainly won't be surprised. After all, Shajirching's prophetic attributes have already been shown. He knew people like them from the past, and he must have seen that era. What do you want to know next? After informing Kinemon of his identity, Shajirching wanted to know what he wanted to know next. We want to know the current situation in the world, especially the news about the beast pirates and Wanokuni. This matter is quite important, and it is related to their next actions. Hehe, you ask the right person this question. The 100 Beasts Pirates is a force we are very familiar with. That guy Kaido should be alive again now. Shajirching showed a very sunny smile and said, the sea today is the same as it was back then. World government, Marine still restricts the order of the sea. But what's different from back then is that outside of Marine, there is a force called Shichibukai. That is, the 7 pirates recognized by the world government can loot at will, and their duty is to check and balance the pirate power. On the side of the pirate force, it has changed a lot, and it is completely different from the heroic era of Roger and Rox. In today's sea, there are still thousands of pirates. But there are 6 particularly powerful pirates, standing on the top of the pirates, and reigning over the sea. They are called the 6 Emperors. Each of the 6 Emperors has the strength to let Marine go all out to deal with them. Shichibukai's existence is to restrict them. They are the pinnacle of all pirates' dreams, the existence that the vast majority of pirates want to join, and have the absolute right to dominate the new world. Seeing Kinamon's face shocked, Shajurching stopped talking. After waiting for him to digest, he continued, and these 6 emperors are red-haired Shanks, Bigumum Charlotte Linlin, Kaido of the Beasts, Golden Lion Shiki, Whitebeard Edward Newgate, and the last. Speaking of the last one, Shajurching stopped again. Kinamon couldn't help but look over, with a little urgency in his eyes, motioning Shajurching to continue. But Shajurching's brows moved slightly, but she didn't continue talking. Kinamon was stunned for a moment, and then he couldn't help but react instantly. He pointed at Shajurching and took a breath in disbelief. The last one, it's not you. What, doesn't it look like it? Seeing his appearance, Shajurching raised his brows in disbelief, and asked rhetorically. Hi. Kinamon couldn't help gasping for a moment, his face full of horror. It's too scary that they have landed in such a dangerous place. Chapter 844 Merely Kaido, you are defeated. Kinamon glanced at Shajurching again, but there was no way he could connect the skinny man in front of him with the strong man. Moreover, he is still the same as a strong person like Kaido. Kaido is. It's really scary that Shajurching can be as powerful as Kaido. Moreover, he also got some very useful clues from Shajurching's mouth. For example, Whitebeard is still alive, and Golden Lion is still active in the world. This matter is quite crucial. So, if you want to defeat Kaido, Kurozumi Orochi, and avenge your daimyo Kazuki Odin, it's not enough for you to be the 9 heroes in the red sheath. Your strength is too weak in front of them, you can't make a splash at all. Shajurching took a sip of wine and explained a fact in a very calm manner. Hearing Shajurching's words, although Kinamon didn't want to admit it, he had to admit that Shajurching was right. With their power, it is impossible to have much influence on Kaido. If nothing else, you're almost ready to leave, have a nice trip. After Shajurching finished speaking, he was about to get up, and Kinamon said quickly, I want to know how strong Kaido's power is now. It's better to be mentally prepared. If you can't take revenge now, it doesn't mean you can't in the future. Now let's get the situation clear first. The revenge thing can take your time. This is a very sensible idea. Well, let me tell you about the beast pirates, who made me familiar with him. Hearing Shajurching's words, Kinamon couldn't help swallowing. What does it mean to be very familiar with Kaido? Could it be that? Kinamon's look at Shajurching immediately became vigilant, and his body tightened. Don't worry, I'm not with Kaido, and I won't reveal your news to him. Shajurching didn't even have to look to know what Kinamon was thinking, so he said, I haven't paid attention to a defeated general like Kaido. Proud, indifferent. Looking at Shajurching, Kinamon couldn't help taking a deep breath. At one point he even thought he had heard it wrong. What did he hear? Shajurching actually said that Kaido was his defeat. Just kidding. Even if he doesn't know the current Kaido, but after listening to Shajurching's words just now, he also knows how terrifying Kaido is now. See Emperor, will it be simple? But Shajurching can actually defeat Kaido. How strong is Shajurching who can defeat Kaido? He began to doubt life. Kaido's subordinates now have 3 major combat powers, plus 6 volleyballs, and some real fights, for the givers. Almost all of these people are capable, and they are quite powerful. Among them, the givers are all those with artificial devil fruit abilities, and the abilities are no different from those with normal abilities. Only in shape, there are traces of animals, which should be easily identified. In addition, there are nearly 10,000 basic troops, all kinds of pirates in the New World. The level of strength is not bad, you can't beat it casually. The three plagues can basically fight against Admiral, and Kaido's guy is even more known to be immortal. Falling from a height of 10,000 meters, he was unharmed. Even though he was caught several times by Marine, he couldn't kill him. The name of the strongest creature, Megatron. It took more than 10 minutes for Shajirching to explain to Kinemon the current strength of the beast pirates. After listening to this, Kinemon's expression became extremely solemn. Kaido's strength is much stronger than it was back then. They couldn't beat them back then, can they really beat them now? Kinemon is a little lost. Shajirching asked again, is there any problem? If not, you can leave, I hope you can get your revenge. This time, it was Momonosuke who said, since Kaido is so powerful, why do you care so much about him? Didn't he say he is the Emperor of the Sea? As his competitor, you should be very vigilant against him. Hearing Momonosuke's words, Shajirching glanced at him somewhat unexpectedly. It seems that you have inherited some good genes from Kazuki Oden and Mrs. Shi in addition to being cute, sexy and crying. Momonosuke didn't like to hear these words, but he didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of Shajirching. Isn't the answer very simple? What kind of person do you think can face someone as powerful as Kaido and don't care much? Shajirching asked back, and then, without waiting for Momonosuke to think about it, Shajirching replied, that's naturally the stronger one. Kaido, it's just my defeat. If I didn't want to take his life, he would have turned into a pile of loess and annihilated into the world by now. These words are calm and natural, but with supreme confidence and domineering. Gollum. Hearing Shajirching say the same thing again, the shock in Momonosuke's heart was still undiminished. How strong does he need to be so that he doesn't look down on a powerhouse like Kaido? Is there any problem? If not, I think it should be possible to arrange for you to go to sea. Come on, I think Kaido should also start looking for your traces. For the past 20 years, he has never stopped doing this. This is another big news, and Kinemon's expression froze when he heard it. Now that Kaido is so powerful, it is definitely only a matter of time before they can be found. If they can't gain enough power in this limited time, then they will have absolutely no possibility of revenge. Kazuki Oden will always be silent in the long river of time, and Kaido will be forever beautiful. No, thank you sir. Kinemon has already learned enough information from Shajirching, and naturally he will not stay here any longer. Although Shajirching looks very safe here. However, in other people's territory, after all, people are still a little not used to it. People are separated from each other, who knows what Shajirching thinks. Enel, prepare them a boat with corresponding fresh water and food, and send them away. Shajirching gave an order, and Enel hihi isho and left with Kinemon. Along the way, Kinemon and Momonosuke were completely stunned by the prosperity and magnificence of this sky island. What a terrible force! Kinemon thought so in his heart, and when he looked up, there were frightening things everywhere. Whether it's tall buildings, those powerful weapons, or those powerful warriors. It made Kinemon's understanding of Shajirching more and more profound. But Kinemon didn't know that the real horror started from the moment he left Sky Island. Chapter 845 I like the way you haven't seen the world. Descending from a height of 10,000 meters, Kinemon is extremely vigilant throughout the whole process, for fear that if he is not careful, he will fall into the sea and drown. For these actions of them, Enel looked real, but couldn't help but want to laugh in his heart. Too careful. Will the ship of their summer chamber of commerce fall? Just kidding, isn't that hitting Shajirching in the face? Since the establishment of the connection between Sky Island and Nine Snake Island, there has never been a case of falling down from the sky and dying. 10 minutes later, Kinemon, who landed on the sea, looked at the island with a snake head statue in the distance, and couldn't help but exclaimed in shock, this is it, the Amazon with no wind. Even if he came from 20 years ago, he knew the name of Nine Snake Island. This is a forbidden place for men. Once any man breaks into this place, he will be attacked. Go quickly, leave quickly, otherwise, we will definitely be attacked. We can't provoke the people of Nine Snake Island, we will die. Kinamon's tone was a little flustered, because all the female warriors of Nine Snake Island would use haki, which is very powerful. Moreover, it is abhorrent to men. As long as you see it, you will definitely hunt down to the end. Kinamon doesn't think that one of his small boats can match the thousands of warriors on the Nine Snake Island. Especially at sea. Just as he was saying this, a ship from Nine Snake Island really came over. Trouble. Kinamon pulled out his knife immediately, his face extremely solemn, and he was ready to fight. Momonosuke hid directly behind Kinamon, his face full of panic. I said, what are you two going to do? Who are you going to fight? Seeing that Kinamon even pulled out his knife, Enel couldn't help rolling his eyes. This guy is a little too excited. That's the ship of Nine Snake Island. They hate men the most, and they will definitely attack or even annihilate us when they see us. Why don't you get ready? Kinamon said solemnly. What are you panicking about? This is our second lady's subordinate. How could they attack us? Put the knife away, don't cause misunderstanding. Enel chewed the apple and said angrily. Hearing Enel's words, Kinamon was stunned for a moment, then his eyes widened in shock. Second madam, you mean, the Queen of Nine Snake Island is your captain's wife? Kinamon feels that his worldview is about to be overturned. He feels that he has been completely eliminated by the times, and he can't adapt to the world in 20 years. The world is too crazy. As we all know, the female emperor of Nine Snake Island is extremely disgusted with the existence of men, and her character is indifferent and arrogant, and it is impossible to see a man. But now, Enel told them that the Empress of Nine Snake Island actually became Shajirching's wife. This is really a bit of a blast. What is this? There is nothing that our president can't do. If there is, it may just be that he has not done it. Enel looked indifferent, and then, urging the boat to send them away from the windlass belt. If he doesn't send Kinamon, the two of them can't escape the siege of these ferocious sea kings in the windlass belt. Kinamon just watched the Nine Snake Island ship pass them by, as if he didn't see them. It made him heave a long sigh of relief. He was really afraid that the ship would suddenly shoot arrows all over the sky. Okay, it's out of the windlass zone, now it's up to you. There is a permanent record pointer on the boat, pointing to you and your Wanokuni. After sending Kinamon out of the windlass belt, Enel separated a small lifeboat from the ship and drove into the windlass belt. The historical text of the fourth road sign has finally revealed its traces. Shajirching looked at the information in front of her, smiled, and smiled happily, her eyes were full of light. Next, let Nami draw and survey the nautical chart, and then let people find it. Hey, it's really exciting, laughed Tail, the secrets hidden by the world government, it's exciting to think about it. Thinking of this, Shajirching did not hesitate, and passed the information to Nami who was far away on Dabalu Island. Lord Vice Admiral, why are we here too? If our identity is revealed, wouldn't we be surrounded by enemies on all sides? On Dabalu Island, a group of people landed, and a young man with pink hair looked at the red-haired young man beside him and asked. Don't worry, Kobe, I am definitely not the first person to think this way. On this island, there are all kinds of bulls, ghosts and snakes. People from the world government can come, why can't I come? What's more, the prize is worth 200 million devil fruits. Even if I don't eat it and sell it to others, it will be a huge sum of money. In line with Marine's identity, and with red hair, there is only Batong Wan. Besides, there are so many strong people here, and they won't be able to watch it. That's a pity. If you want to become stronger, don't you have to fight more people? Batong Maru is serious and has no flaws in what he said, and Kobe is completely speechless. Vice Admiral Red Ogre Batong Wan from Marine Headquarters, it's amazing that he is here too. In a dark corner, a man in denim clothes said so. It's Supernova Drake. Ho ho ho, Giant Clan, Long Hand Clan, it's really a lively meeting. On a certain street, a purple-haired young man with a scar on the tip of his eye, carrying a big sword, smiled terribly. It is the cracker of the Big Human Pirates, one of the 3 generals. The Straw Hats, this is your stranger. Another doc, the White Hunter Smoker has landed. He landed on the ground without dressing up at all, causing a huge shock all of a sudden. Interesting, things got even more interesting now. The White Hunter actually came. Who is his target? In the dark, many people showed playful smiles. Dabaloo Island, at this moment, gathered all kinds of bulls, ghosts and snakes, and their targets are basically the cat fruit. I love you so much, artificial devil fruit, here I come. A certain big man with a crescent beard said with drool. Hey, President, you actually know the whereabouts of the 4th road sign historical text stone tablet. In a hidden room, when Nami received a letter from Shajar Ching, she couldn't help being surprised. Of course, who am I? As long as I think about it, there is nothing that Shajar Ching can't do. Hearing that, Shajar Ching's proud voice came from the other end of the phone bug, and then Shajar Ching passed the information to Nami. Then, the rest is left to our omnipotent Miss Navigator. Whether you can become One Piece King of Pirates is up to you. Hearing this, Nami showed a confident smile. Leave it to me, let my genius navigator Nami give you a satisfactory answer. Chapter 846. Isn't this fun? Robin on the side couldn't help smiling. It's really reliable. Then, he continued to devote himself to the work of parsing ancient texts. It's started, the competition in the arena has begun. It's really exciting. Who will get this devil fruit in the end? The people on Dabaloo Island quickly gathered away after the arena tournament started, all with excitement on their faces. I said, why the 2 of you want to participate? Are you also interested in that devil fruit? No way. Here with the Straw Hats, Karina looked at Luffy and Kira, who were all excited, and said with a headache. A lot of interesting swordsmen have come, and I can't let them go. Especially that guy is here too. Maybe he can have a good fight with him in the game. Kira's expression was full of wild beasts, and her expression was quite excited. Karina asked inexplicably, that person means? Kira, Pirate Hunter, Roronoa Zoro, the big pirate with a bounty of more than 500 million. Hi. Karina couldn't help taking a breath. You're going to fight that guy with a bigger bounty than Luffy? Of course, he alone can excite me. What's more, there are a lot of powerful swordsmen gathered in this arena today. I feel a pity not to have a good chat with them. Kira licked his lips, like a beast ready to attack. What about you, Luffy, why are you participating? Karina asked, looking at the excited Luffy. Luffy replied with a smile, this is really fun, isn't it? Then of course you can't miss it. Well, Karina is speechless and unable to refute Luffy's reason. This reason is so powerful. I said, Zoro, why are you so excited? There aren't many swordsmen who can beat you in the ocean now. Are you interested in those swordsmen from Dabaloo Island? In the deep sea, Shajar Ching hugged Shajar Reading, who was sleeping in his arms, looked at Zoro with his eyes closed, and asked. There are a lot of powerful swordsmen in this sea, so you should go and see if you don't know. I don't want to miss this feast, it would be a shame to miss it. Zoro showed a beast-like smile, and the whole person sat there, already letting the surrounding sea beasts retreat. The breath on his body is really scary. Dabaloo Island, the arena. Interesting, there are so many strong people, hee, it seems that the attractiveness of this fruit is really not small. The Beast Pirates X Drake, and the 3 Commander Cracker of the Big Human Pirates. Shichibukai Whitebeard too, one of the 4 top officials under Shichibukai Doflamingo, Diamante. Marine Vice Admiral Red Ogre Batong Wan, and that blatant White Hunter Smoker. Ho, and Straw Hat Luffy, as well as the swordsman Kira on their ship, G. Didia of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and Hulina, the Queen of Beheading. And Shichibukai Trafalco who never fought. Gia Gia Gia, what an exciting feast. This is only the people who are recognized on the bright side. There are a lot of strong people who have not been recognized or noticed in the dark, and they are also among them. The scale of the competition in this arena is not ordinary. I heard that the man will also participate in the competition. I don't know, which is more powerful than these people present. In a corner, someone whispered to the person next to him. Maybe each other. After all, they are also pirates with a bounty of more than 500 million, so the strength must be there. This is the person from the world government, and the person in their mouth is Zoro. The battle of the arena is quite fierce from the beginning. With so many powerhouses gathered here, the battle is fierce and exciting. Even Didia and Hulina only lasted until the second round, and they were brushed down. One is to be defeated by Cracker under heavy pressure. This is Hulina. One was defeated by the powerful Batong Maru who could not be described by common sense. This is Didia. It's so exciting, it's on fire. It's really interesting that even a powerhouse of the level of the dangerous princess can't survive the second round. More and more people are looking forward to the future development. Who will win in the end? This is a game of luck and strength. If you have strength alone, you may not be able to win. Similarly, if you rely solely on luck, you will not survive for long. Only those who have both luck and strength can win the final victory. Next, it's the third round, and there are people who didn't play in the last round. In the past 2 rounds, a total of 8 teams participated in the battle and won 8 championships. And the third round, and the final 3 teams, will produce 3 new champions. The 3 rounds together are the first game. And all the winners of the first round will enter the second round for new rounds of battles. And in the list of the last round of the first game, everyone saw a very conspicuous name, Roronoa Zoro. Even characters of this level are here, it's getting more and more interesting. Many people showed more anticipation, and Ji Liang, who was lucky enough to survive the 2 rounds of battle, couldn't help showing high fighting spirit. Is it finally here, Zoro? I haven't seen him since the battle with Zoro 7 or 8 years ago. Now that Zoro is famous, he really wants to know how big the gap is between him and him. It's really fun, everyone is so strong. Luffy is like a little baby, constantly beating happily, like winning tens of billions. Look, Roronoa Zoro is here. While Luffy and the others were chatting happily, Zoro appeared. However, who is the person following Zoro, and a little girl, does anyone know? Everyone didn't care much about the man following Zoro. After all, compared to Zoro, no matter how you look at this man is a little ordinary, and he belongs to the kind of existence that will not stand out at all in the crowd. But that doesn't mean no one cares. This person looks so familiar to me. Batong Wan frowned slightly as he looked at the man who was holding the puff to puff the little girl. He always felt as if he had felt this familiar feeling somewhere, and he couldn't be wrong. And on some high platform. Hey, why is the boss here? What happened? While sipping red wine, Tezzolo, who looked like a nobleman, also saw this man. He couldn't help being surprised. He immediately stood up from his seat with a look of surprise. The boss in his mouth is naturally Shajirching. Chapter 847 Good play begins. Don't take the little princess out to play again. Tezzolo glanced at the little girl who looked like a porcelain doll held by Shajirching and thought so in his heart. This little princess of their Chamber of Commerce is not like other girls at all. She is quiet, and her favorite thing to do is to travel around. Don't be afraid of the sky, go wherever it is interesting. A group of people with obvious talents, but they just don't practice. Looks like I'll have to take it easy. Knowing that Shajirching was coming, Tezzolo naturally ordered to go on and strengthen the patrol. There are too many people on this island, and there are also many vicious pirates. It is impossible to guarantee that there are no evil intentions. If something goes wrong with the little princess Shajirching, he can't explain it well. It was so much fun, so much fun. In Shajirching's jewel-like eyes, there was a gleam of excitement. The third round of the battle begins immediately. Zoro came on stage and immediately grabbed everyone's attention. The pirate hunter Roronoa Zoro is really looking forward to it. I heard that his target is the world's largest swordsman, Mihawk. Maybe he can really do it, but not necessarily. A monster like him has a bright future. The people around were talking like this. Roronoa Zoro, it's a formidable opponent, it's hard to handle. Drake, who was disguised, watched as he came on stage, but he was still carrying a jug. Zoro, who was a little drunk, narrowed his eyes. I want this fruit, and no one wants to rob me. Whitebeard too was also on it, looking at Zoro and snorting like a demented child. How can this kind of fruit fall into the hands of others? It must be handed over to us Marine. Smoker is up there too, just not on the same stage as Zoro. Luffy Sr., look at me, I will definitely win the championship, and when I get this fruit, I will dedicate it to you. Bartolomeo was actually there, looking at Luffy and his party with a frenzy on his face, and said, "Battle, start." When everyone in the third round was on the stage of the arena, the referee and supporter gave the order to start. Gia Gia Gia, Roronoa Zoro, let's see your strength. We are indeed not your opponents individually, but I don't believe that hundreds of people combined are not your opponents. Fight you first, and then we will fight internally. Hee hee, I didn't expect it, we will directly unite in this situation. At the beginning, everyone in Zoro's team was besieging Zoro. Oh, let's go together, it's a bit interesting, then let me see how long you can hold on. Zoro showed a beast-like smile and pulled out 3 beloved knives. Don't be too weak, you guys. Arrogant, brothers, let's go together. Hearing Zoro's arrogant words, everyone became angry, and they all rushed over. They are all pirates from the New World, and their strength is much stronger than the level of the pirates in the first half of the Great Route. They basically use point hockey. It's hard to survive in the New World without hockey. The collective attack of a group of people is still quite impressive. 3 Swords Flow 108 Troubled Phoenix. To deal with the situation of many people, the Trouble Wind series is very suitable. I saw a powerful and fierce tornado, surging towards a group of people. Ah! Immediately, a group of people were thrown out, and they let out a panicked exclamation. Damn, he's really powerful, he deserves to be a man called a beast. However, we will not admit defeat, the final victory must belong to me and you. Of course, there are a lot of people who have not been blown out and can still stand on the field. These are basically people whose strength has reached the level of over 100 million. It seems that you guys are not just powerful, then come on, I hope you can bring me enough fun. Just now, if Zoro used the 360 Anxiety Phoenix, the battle might be on the verge of ending. But Zoro didn't, and if he wanted to ask why, it was because he still wanted to enjoy the fight. Go away, don't stand in my way. But the change always comes so fast, and Whitebeard too suddenly joins. Furthermore, he swung his sword and included Zoro and the others in the attack range. Ah! There was a scream of screams on the battle stage, and a lot of people fell. Get out of here! Seeing Zoro, the disguised Drake was still standing. Whitebeard too swung his big knife and slashed hard. Bang! Zoro blocked it with a knife, but a terrifying storm broke out in an instant, and the terrifying sword energy shattered the surrounding large buildings. What a lunatic! Zoro resisted the blow, but said with some difficulty. The power of this Whitebeard too is really amazing, even if he is as strong as him, it feels a little unbearable. Some people are born with amazing strength and cannot be envied. Such as this Whitebeard too Wable. And when Zoro and the others were fighting fiercely, Shajarching was here. What's the matter? Tezzolo is surprised to see me coming. Looking at the somewhat puzzled Tezzolo, Shajarching said jokingly. Probably bring the little princess out again. Apart from this, I can't think of any other reason for a person like you to come out. Tezzolo sipped the wine and said with a clear face. Ha ha ha, I know, you know me best, Tezzolo. Shajurching laughed immediately when he heard the words. There was no way, it was exactly what Tezzolo said. However, there are a lot of people on this island, and there are all kinds of forces. There are many people from the world government and marine. Do you want to? Tezzolo made a wiping action. It's not necessary, let them investigate, they won't get what they need anyway. Now the most attractive thing on Dabalu Island is the cat fruit. Their eyes are basically on it. After being silent for more than a year, these people have almost acted, and it's normal, but it's almost time for us to act. Hearing this, Tezzolo's eyes suddenly lit up. President, are you finally going to take that last step? I've been waiting for more than a year, aren't you just preparing for this? Now that you've got the last piece of the historical text of the road sign, it's time to start. Otherwise, why did I develop the military so diligently? Not just to be able to deal with the flow when the world government and marine attacked in the future. Shajurching had a smile on the corner of her mouth. Everything was under control. Chapter 848. If it's not to sway people's hearts, I will too. Tezzolo nodded, and then looked at the Wable of Whitebeard too, who flew out Drake with great power. Vivi frowned. What is this Wable from? It's really the son of the eldest Whitebeard, an LT, P and GT. Speaking of which, he himself is a little unsure. I've never heard of Whitebeard's blood outside. Besides, Wable doesn't look like a demented child, and it doesn't look like Whitebeard's blood. But this Wable name is too big, Whitebeard too, he dared. It doesn't matter Wable, but the one behind her named Miss Bajan is a careerist who can borrow fame. HMPH, but I can't ignore it when I borrow it from Father Whitebeard. I don't agree to use my father's name to condense my wealth. If you don't tell me, I forgot about this guy, and I will issue a joint notice later, giving me the name Whitebeard too. Daddy Whitebeard is Daddy Whitebeard. If you want to be the second Whitebeard, don't even think about it without our permission. Hearing this, Tezzolo nodded. This kind of thing is just a matter of hands. However, first didn't expect Marine to come, and Cracker from the Four Emperors Bigumum Pirates came. It's really hard work. This cat fruit is really tempting enough. Shajurching heard Isho. Of course, they know too well that if there is the first artificial devil fruit cat and cat fruit, there must be a second, a third and even countless. They naturally want to hold such a weapon in their hands. Who doesn't want to take it back and study it to see if it can be mass-produced? It's just a pity, it is impossible for them to do it. Since I will take out this artificial devil fruit, it will naturally remove the core part of the technology. In addition to the huge amount of funds for researching this thing, and the difficult technical barriers, after they copy it, I am afraid it will be decades or even 100 years later. Shajurching clenched her hand, but at that time, we didn't know how many more advanced things we had researched. Even if she did research, she would always be at a disadvantage. Of course, Kaido of the Beasts has this technology too, but it's not nearly as good as ours. Besides, Kaido won't leak this technology. We have the upper hand when it comes to artificial devil fruits, and that's enough. We can slowly establish cooperation with them. I believe they also understand that there is no permanent enemy, only permanent interests. They will agree to work with me for their own development, but... Shajurching's mouth drew a huge arc. One-step victory, step-by-step victory, in this way, I can slowly nibble them. With my current strength, although it is not impossible to destroy them, it will definitely cause the world government and marine to panic and cause world turmoil, which is not good for my development. It's better to boil the frogs in warm water. By the time they realize something is wrong, it's too late. The world government can unify the power of the world, become the maker of the order of the sea, and rule the sea, then why can't I do it? Isn't it just coercing people's interests? I will. Hearing Shajurching's words, Tezzolo swallowed. His guild leader really dared to think. Moreover, the objects of his plan are those emperors on the sea. And the world government that has ruled the sea for 800 years. What a terrible ambition. But he likes it, and only such an ambitious person can make him bow his head and serve as a servant. If possible, Shajirching doesn't want to do this either. But he understands that after learning the truth of the world, going to Laugh Tale and becoming One Piece, king of pirates, the world government will definitely not live in peace with him again. In this case, it can only be confronted by force. Only when they have the equal right to speak with the world government will they have a peaceful dialogue with themselves and acknowledge their corresponding achievements. It is possible to negotiate conditions, but first of all, both parties must be at the same level. Back on stage again. Boom. Wable swung the big sword and collided with Zoro, the swordsman with 3 swords. The weapons in the hands of the two were waving at high speed, and they were constantly interacting tirelessly, attracting the attention of everyone present. It can be so intense. Is this the strength of a top pirate? It's amazing. Really powerful. This Wable is so powerful that even Roronoa Zoro has been suppressed. Of course, that Drake was a big pirate with a bounty of 398 million shells just now. An LT, P and GT. It is said that he also fought against the strong man of the Beast Pirates and successfully retreated, but he was slashed out of the field by Wable and almost died. Yeah, it's enough to see how strong Roronoa Zoro is. It's just a pity, Wable is still stronger. The people around said that the entire battlefield is where the battle is the most intense. As expected of the most terrifying person among the 6 emperors, he used an artificial devil fruit to attract everyone's attention and create a public opinion posture. In this way, people with a heart will inevitably come to seek cooperation with him. In this way, you can form alliances with more powerful forces to make yourself stronger and increase your right to speak. Secondly, it can also make collaborators rely on him, so that it will be convenient and natural to cook frogs in warm water in the future. And, as long as he masters the core technology, he can use funds to mobilize the human and material resources of various collaborators. Others are exhausted, but he can take advantage of the fishermen. Hi, really high. Smoker, a certain old man who didn't look very conspicuous, swung the big arm of the robot and swept the surrounding enemies. But it's ridiculous that Marine has so much importance to this kind of thing, has it sent to Vice Admiral to inquire about the depth. It's really far behind others. After Shajirching has set up the game, you will not be able to intervene at all. You can only cut off the signs now. With that said, he glanced at Smoker, then sighed, but I don't see any such possibility from you. Smoker, I'm so disappointed. Since this is the case, the old man can only come in person and completely bury this sea and all the evil. This is the best way to get rid of these marine garbage. The old man didn't know. What Akainu was thinking about now was how to get this fruit and use it to enhance Marine's strength. Chapter 849 Black Arm Zephyr appears. No way, the sea is too strange, even if Marine's combat power has reached the strongest it has ever been. However, so are pirates, and they are stronger than Marine. Who has encountered such a thing as the 6 emperors rule the sea at the same time? No. Only he, Akainu, met. The existing marine forces are barely able to keep a balance with these powerful emperors, but they can't balance them. As long as these emperors want to mess around, their marine can't stop them much. That's why Akainu wanted to increase his strength, and he continued to increase the number of soldiers while increasing the combat effectiveness of the soldiers. Only in this way can he keep up with the footsteps of these people on the sea. As for Shajirching's idea, Akainu is not a god, and it is impossible to think about everything. Dabalu Island, the arena. Hey, that man is actually here. Things seem to be a little trickier. Suddenly, Shajirching's eyes swept to the old man who was carrying the big arm of the machine, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Tezzolo immediately looked over when he heard the words, and then Vivi's pupils shrank immediately. This man is, he looked at Shajirching, his eyes full of solemnity. Yes, that's who you think he is, and he's actually here, and things are starting to get more interesting. Shajur-Ching glanced at the old man, then at Wabel who was fighting with Zoro, and said in his heart, Zephyr, are you here for revenge, or for your ambition, or both? Yes, that old man is none other than Black Arm Zephyr, one of the former Marine 3 admirals of Sengoku's time. It is called, Do Not Kill Admiral, but the fate is quite ill-fated, and the reality is quite unfriendly to this old man. Interesting, Wabel, Luffy, Zephyr, didn't know you were entangled in the original, what will happen this time? When Shajur-Ching thought of this, a flash of light suddenly flashed in his head. Wait, Batongwan and the others may not have come because of the cat and cat fruit, maybe. Shajur-Ching glanced at Zephyr again, maybe it's for him. This possibility is definitely there, it seems, it's time to check it out. Thinking of this, Shajur-Ching immediately whispered a few words to Tezzolo. The latter couldn't help but change his face. I think, it is really possible. Then, he hurried off. He's going to deploy troops and let the detectives find out the information he wants. See if the facts are what Shajur-Ching guessed. If that's the case, then Zephyr is really an extremely dangerous existence. The 3 volcanoes' endpoints that can destroy the entire sea, and the explosive rock that explodes when it encounters air, whose power is comparable to ancient weapons, these 2 add up to make one's scalp tingle. Shajur-Ching told him just now, if it is as he guessed, then this sea is likely to be subverted directly by Zephyr. At that time, the entire sea will be swallowed up by the scorching lava. All will die without a burial, be burned to nothingness, and be buried with Zephyr. What a crazy idea, worthy of the former Admiral Zephyr. Go away, you bastard, don't let you stop me from getting that thing. On the field, Wabel roared hideously, and the broadsword in his hand became heavier and heavier. Let Zoro, who hasn't shed blood for nearly 2 years, is wounded again and can't stop breathing. Hey, that's not good. With a good opponent like you, I'm not going to end here. Zoro's 3 knives are covered with thick haki, and his eyes are full of terrifying fighting intent. In the battle just now, he has determined that Wabel is stronger than him. But this is exactly what he wants. Not better than him, how to make him improve, and then successfully challenge a big swordsman like Hawkeye. Die! Wabel was completely angry and shouted fiercely. Then, the large sword exuding high-level armament and fierce sword energy, wrapped in the power that can cut through the island, slashed at Zoro. 3 Swords Mystery 3000 Worlds. Zoro once again used the trick he first met Hawkeye and passed Wabel. The field suddenly quieted down, and then PFF'd. Zoro, who I saw, suddenly knelt to the ground, spit out a mouthful of blood, and his face was extremely painful. Die! Wabel's huge body suddenly turned around, and the icy blade force slashed down. PFF'd. However, when his knife was only halfway through, everyone couldn't bear to see Zoro's blood splattered on the spot and screamed in surprise. His chest suddenly burst out with blood, causing him to retreat a few steps. The other end. Smoker is here. Sansansan, let me all go down. Smoker turned into a smoke jet, wrapping armament, fist, and carrying out a dimensionality-reducing blow on the others present. On the opposite side of him, Zephyr was much more rude, with a terrifying fist, and when he hit a target, few people could take a few punches from him. Regardless of your bounty of 200 million or 300 million, it is a matter of 3 or 2 punches. Smoker. Mr. Zephyr. As the strongest 2 people on the field, Smoker and Zephyr naturally meet each other. Smoker, your fighting technique is a waste again. Zephyr rushed over like a saber-toothed tiger, and the pressure was so heavy that it made people breathless. What the hell are you trying to do, Mr. Zephyr? Smoker struggled to block the blow and asked. This isn't something you should be concerned about, Smoker. Zephyr's left arm was wrapped in armament haki, and he burst into the air. Smoker didn't dare to take the punch, and hurriedly elementalized to avoid the blow. Smoker, have you forgotten my abilities? Seeing this, Zephyr shouted, and with a punch, the elementalized smoker hit the entity and flew out. Impossible, I'm obviously elementalized. Smoker was horrified. Higher armament hockey, what a horrible old man. Ba Tongwan in the stands looked at Zephyr with a solemn look in his eyes. Zephyr is now a dangerous man. Possessing a large number of explosive rocks comparable to the power of ancient weapons, he can be said to be more dangerous than Sha Zhiqing. The purpose of his visit this time is to stop Zephyr from messing around. It's rare for Marine to have Admiral Kizaru leading the charge to deal with you. Although I really want to fight you, but with my strength, I still don't ask for trouble. But Tongwan has no confidence to defeat Zephyr. In this way, he may not be able to stop Zephyr, but may be pulled into the explosion rock by Zephyr. At that time, he was not immortal, he would die. Chapter 850 so far, what do you want to do? Ho! Smoker, who was smashed into the wall by the blast, was caught by Zephyr's right robotic arm before he could move further. No, it's Seastone. He suddenly lost his strength, was caught by Zephyr, and was thrown out like a chicken. Fuck me all. Zephyr's anger is naturally scary. Even though he is 72 years old, his physical strength has declined so much that he is not as sharp as before. But his strength is still the top of the sea. All the pirates still on the stage were eliminated in just 5 minutes. Zephyr wins. Go all down. On another battle stage, Bartolomeo fired a barrier and pushed all opponents off the battle stage. That's how unpretentious wins. This person has some strength. Bartolomeo's battle situation naturally attracted the attention of many people. After all, his barrier is really powerful, and he has defeated many stronger than him. Maybe it can be recruited, but not necessarily. Cracker thought in his heart. In his eyes, Bartolomeo is too suitable to be his defense specialist. It's really strong, these people. Luffy looked at Zephyr and Bartolomeo who won, also showing a dignified look. The other side. People like Zephyr are actually on the island, plus Nico Robin, who has never been there. Nami is also on the island. It seems that something big is happening. A spy of a world government, hiding in a corner. This kind of task is only suitable for a CP0. However, as expected of Sha Zhiqing's sphere of influence, it's really not easy to inquire about news. It's a suit again, and the person wearing the mask is low. The sea is getting more and more unsettled. Behind the impending turmoil, it is really heart-wrenching. They did not find that somewhere behind them, a man with a big head like a bat emerged from the ground, showed a smile, and then sank into the ground. Perhaps, it is not a wise decision to choose to discuss matters with the Straw Hat Master in such a place. In a certain corner of the stand, Shichibukai Trafalzalo frowned and looked at Luffy who was watching the last battle, and then glanced at all kinds of characters, feeling a deep sense of unease in his heart. Zoro vs. Wable's battle. Bastard, you dare to hurt me, I'm going to kill you. Wable's face was ferocious, and his beard was flamboyant, his eyes bursting with bluish veins and squirming, like a sword from a demon. This knife is like thunder, flying like a streamer, fast and fierce. Ghost Chi 9 Blades Ashura. Zoro also came up with the bottom trick, and the venue instantly turned into a cold hell, exuding terrifying depression. Zoro seemed to have 3 heads and 6 arms in an instant, with blades in all directions, and the cold light flashed past, hitting the strongest blow. Bang! After the sound of the collision of gold and iron stopped, the two passed by again. Crack! Whitebeard 2 Wable suddenly broke and shattered into pieces of iron on the ground. And Wable's chest suddenly opened with a huge opening, blood splashed, and the previous opening formed a perfect X shape. PFF'd. But just when everyone thought Zoro had won, blood rushed from his chest, and then he passed out. How dare you hurt me? I'm going to kill you. Wable turned around suddenly, and even raised his fist and was about to smash Zoro's head. This change suddenly stunned everyone. So that everyone didn't have time to rescue Zoro. Thunderbolt, Chidori's sharp spear. It was naturally impossible for Shajirching to watch Zoro be killed. He swung a lightning gun, smashed the air, and blasted Weibo out. The first round of battle is over. All the winners will continue to participate in the second round 2 days later, until the final winner is determined and won the cat and cat fruit. As soon as Shajirching made his move, he had already exposed himself, and immediately, it caused a huge sensation on Dabo, Rhode Island. Why is this guy here? Does this kind of thing still need him to worry about it? Hey, he's not wearing it on Sky Island, what's the purpose of coming here? The people around were caught in thought and shock because of Shajirching's sudden appearance. As the master here, that's just right, and it saves the old man from looking for you. Just use your life to bring this era to an end. Zephyr glanced at Shajirching and thought like this. It's getting more and more interesting. Ba Tongwan looked at Shajirching with an extremely excited look. The situation is not very good, hello. Cracker felt a little numb in his scalp, and it was self-evident that he could make a dignified Sixth Emperor come in person. After Shajirching rescued Zoro and announced the end of the battle, he left. No explanation needed. But the news of his appearance on this island has quickly spread to the whole world. What the hell does he want to do? Isn't he traveling again? The tyrants on the sea thought so in their hearts. This is not their rant, but in their impression, Shajirching is a master who likes to run around. As the strongest man in the dignified, sometimes acting like a child, it is unpredictable. But it is precisely because it is unpredictable that it is even more terrifying. Because no one knows when he will be serious. Are you going to start stirring the wind again? Shajirching. Among the Marines, Akainu only had a headache. The 3 words Shajirching are about to become his magic barrier. Just mentioning him gives Akainu a headache. It seems that so far, in the hands of Shajirching, he has not encountered a good thing. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. No one knew that during these 2 days, an important scientific base in Marine was invaded. And there is an explosive rock with the power comparable to ancient weapons hidden in it. What? The explosive rock base has been invaded. Akainu's face turned black when he heard the news. That's one of Marine's killer weapons, used to deal with the 6 emperors under extreme circumstances. But now, this kind of treasure has been invaded and stolen. What a joke. Akainu feels like her lungs are going to explode. But this kind of thing does happen again. Who is it? Who is the murderer? Akainu's eyes, he asked the Navy on the other side of the phone bug. They claim to be the Neo-New Marine, and it's unclear who is leading the charge. But their strength is quite strong and tricky, and there are also a lot of people. They should be no worse or even stronger than Shichibukai. Someone on the phone worm answered. Chapter 851 Fist to the Flesh, this is the fight. Steal the explosive rock, what did they want to do, destroy the world? Akainu asked with a tingling scalp. Maybe it has something to do with that, the endpoint where the whole sea can be destroyed by destroying 3 locations. The sailor on the other side of the phone worm answered loudly. Hearing this answer, Akainu's pupils shrank. You mean someone wants to detonate those 3 places with explosive rocks and destroy the world? Akainu's voice has changed a bit. If this is the case, the consequences will be disastrous. This is just my guess. Whether or not this is the case depends on whether our intelligence officers can inquire about the corresponding information in time. The other end of the phone worm said again. However, some people said that they saw the trace of Teacher Zephyr at sea. Maybe, this matter has something to do with him. Akainu was stunned for a moment, and then said, I think the credibility of your guess is very high. The location of the explosion rock is very hidden. It is Marine's secret, and only our seniors know it. If you can clearly intrude there, it means that the murderer was probably a senior Marine. The identity of Teacher Zephyr is very suitable. As a former admiral, he knows the position. That Neo-Marine also shows that, and only he has this teaching ability. With this plan in place, Akainu immediately arranged personnel to carry out the corresponding tasks. It must be in time, troublesome things, I really like to come together. Can't you let me stop and stop? The nth time, Akainu felt that he should not be Martial Marine, it was too tortuous. But already on the pirate ship, there is no possibility of going down. Everyone, start your show, the final champion is waving to you. The 11 champions decided in the first round will gather together to fight. But this time the competition venue is different, it is no longer the ordinary hard rock it was 2 days ago. Instead, it is made of seastone and made of steel, so that it can withstand the battle of these monsters. Go. At the beginning of the game, Whitebeard 2 Wable rushed out, and the opponent chose randomly. And the opponent he chose this time was Cracker. Cookie soldiers. Cracker never fights enemies in close quarters unless necessary. He clapped his hands and used his ability to create a bunch of soda cracker soldiers, and stopped in front of Wable. And Bartolomeo, at the moment of the war, surrendered to Luffy. Suddenly there was a little brother. Luffy was very happy, and Ji Liang was also a little confused. Suddenly there is an additional fan brother, which makes people a little uncomfortable. Marine, S. Jr., come on, let me see your measure. Zephyr wanted to pick Wable, but Wable rushed straight to Cracker, and there was nothing he could do. He could only keep his eyes on Batang Maru. It's exactly what I want, uncle. You are very strong. I have wanted to fight with you for a long time. Batang Wan couldn't ask for it, he liked Zephyr so much. Even Zephyr is in his 70s. Come on then. Zephyr took a heavy step and swooped in, blasting the air. Batang Maru couldn't help but sigh, facing Zephyr's fist, he also rapped hockey and punched out. Boom. The entire stage trembled violently, causing the fighting in other places to stop. The violent wind and waves made many spectators feel like they were about to be crushed, and made a painful sound. The Demon Fist. Come on, uncle, have a good fight. Batang Maru shook his numb arm, and armament hockey covered it again, and a violent wave was already lingering on his arm. It took the initiative to rush to Zephyr. It's good to come, then let the old man see your ability. Zephyr is absolutely impossible to fear, he swung his arm and slammed it. Boom. 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 The continuous collision caused the entire battle platform to fall into a continuous tremor, which was amazing. With every collision, the walls around the battle platform can burst into pieces. Even the ground beneath their feet was dented by Vivi. That is a super alloy hard floor made of 1000 calcined steel, and it can't stand it. One can imagine how terrifying their power is. 8 poles collapse. The Demon Fist. Sand and Iron Palm. The whole portrait of Batang Maru is on fire, and the strange power and the terrifying fighting technique make people feel suffocated. Everyone has no doubt that his punch can definitely make the island burst a little. If someone looks at it from the sky, they will find that the sea around Dabalu Island is rippling with violent fluctuations, colliding violently with the turbulent going current. The violent wind and waves, the violent tremors, the visual impact from the fist to the flesh, the fierce sparks and the roaring sound of gold and iron, all shocked everyone. Good boy, to have this kind of strength at this age, you are the first, very good, very good. Zephyr was extremely excited, even though his body did not allow him to fight so fiercely. But he was quite excited. As a result, he transcended the limitations of his body, as if he had returned to the feeling of Admiral back then. Infinite power burst out, suppressing such a terrifying person as Batangwan. Really a terrifyingly scary old man. Batangwan only felt that all the cells in his body were cheering. Except for the feeling of pressure that Shajar Ching gave him that day, only the admirals from Marine can usually do it. The sea is full of talents. Batang Maru's arms are wrapped in thicker steel, and they assist with various attacks, but none of them can withstand Zephyr's fist. And here at Cracker. Chop, chop, cut anyway, I can let you cut for 3 days and 3 nights, exhausting you. Cracker, strength is similar to that of Wabel, basically on the same level as Tezzolo. And Cracker, who has an absolute advantage in long-distance combat, has a high chance of killing Wabel. Seeing this scene, Miss Ba Jin jumped up and down. Originally, when she heard the news of the cat and cat fruit, she came here without thinking. How could she miss this kind of strength enhancement? He thought that even if there were many competitors, there should be few who were his son's opponents. After all, the people of the real big power will definitely not look down on this cat and cat fruit. So, the odds of his son winning are great. However, who knew that he was completely wrong? The people from the big forces actually came, and all kinds of powerful guys appeared in Che. For example, the Straw Hats Luffy, Zephyr, and the Marine Batongwan who played cards out of common sense. In this way, Wabel's advantage is instantly reduced, and she has nothing to do. Chapter 852 This Luffy is different. Damn. Damn. All she can do now is to curse in her heart. Besides, he has no way to vent his dissatisfaction. It's really intense. This uncle is so powerful, and that person is so amazing. Is this the new world? It's amazing. Luffy watched the battle between Zephyr and Batong Maru, fascinated, and his eyes kept shining. Straw Hat Luffy, I'll take your head. At this time, a cold voice came from behind Luffy, and he saw a 3-meter-tall man, wrapping Haki with a knife and falling down. Don't try to touch Senior Luffy. Before Luffy could make a move, Bartolomeo had already created a barrier to block the three of them. Bang! The blade was so powerful that the battle platform moved slightly, and sparks flew out, but it didn't break Bartolomeo's barrier. Damn, how can it be so strong? This person did not give up, but he slashed with multiple knives, continuously slashing at the same position, with increasing strength, but he did not break the barrier. Get out of here, you bastard! Bartolomeo pushed forward with his hand, and the barrier slammed out. The man was too late to defend and was pushed away. This Bartolomeo is a bit interesting. Although the strength is not great, the defense is really strong. Unfortunately, it's Luffy's brainless fan, otherwise, maybe he can be recruited. Shajirching glanced at Bartolomeo, then looked at the battle between Wabel and Cracker. Wabel is just a mentally retarded fighting machine. Without Miss Bajin to help him guide him, how could he have played against a powerhouse like Cracker? Watching Cracker tease him like a toy, Shajirching can already see what will happen next to Wabel. Then, his eyes turned to Zephyr and Batongmaru again. In the end, who will win? However, why would someone like Zephyr participate in such a battle? Does he also want to write the fruit? Also, if he really has that idea, if he wants to destroy the world, he should also increase the strength of the students. And the devil fruit is the fastest way. After a simple adaptation, you can get powerful strength. But isn't it too much fanfare for him to do this? Isn't it too dangerous to not do any pretense at all? After all, Drake has made a disguise, and it is a bit strange that a famous person like Zephyr does not disguise. What is he trying to do and what is his purpose? Shajirching found that he really couldn't guess Zephyr's thoughts. Well, let's go with the flow. Shajirching sighed like this, but he had already monitored Zephyr and sent Shajirching away. Zephyr are here, things are full of unpredictable factors, it's better to keep her away. I'm getting old, I can't compare to you young people, I admit defeat. Zephyr suddenly conceded defeat, which surprised everyone around him. No one thought Zephyr would make such a decision. This decision is really weird. After all, he didn't seem to be losing, how could he admit defeat? Uncle, you are really interesting. Batongmaru looked at Zephyr with a weird smile on the corner of his mouth. Fuck me, bastard. There was Wabel's voice again, and he looked at Cracker, who was being protected behind the biscuit soldier, with a furious expression, and roared with intent and powerlessness. What is incompetent anger? This is it. And Cracker, sitting on the stage with a big knife on his back, patted two palms from time to time to replenish his troops, very leisurely. Is this the strength of the three generals? So strong. It can make people desperate. But the most disappointing thing is that there is more than one such powerhouse in the sea. Almost every 6 emperor pirates has one or two. The top pirates are really unusual, no wonder they have the strength to dominate the sea, and the emperor of the sea is well deserved. The surrounding pirates looked at Cracker, but their hearts were desperate for the strength of the 6 emperors. Cracker's strength has somewhat dispelled their desire to challenge the 6 emperors. With your own strength, don't make fun of it. Wable's power is obvious to all. Even Zoro, who had a bounty of 500 million, was defeated in his hands, but this kind of powerhouse was turned around by Cracker. Sure enough, you have to have a brain, otherwise, it can't be such a scene. I don't know who came to say such a sentence, and immediately got the approval of many people. In the match between Wable and Zoro, he only narrowly won. And that's because the attacking methods of the two are straight, and Wable's disadvantage will not be reflected. He can perform with all his strength and will not be restricted. It's pure strength. But now it's different, Cracker is a powerhouse. Moreover, quite cunning and clever, not fighting Wable head-on, only using the biscuit soldiers to consume his stamina. Wait until Wable is exhausted and then decide the winner. Cracker has this kind of perseverance and stamina. After all, the biscuit soldiers are not weak, and it is no problem to defeat the pacifists alone. Dealing with a pirate with a bounty of 3 or 4 billion, there is no problem at all. Wable is now uninjured, which is actually pretty good. But unfortunately, he met Cracker. Unless it rains all the time, or he is smarter and attacks with seawater, otherwise, he has no chance. And on the other side. Straw Hat, it's been a while since I heard your name, and I finally saw you today. Batongmaru looked at Luffy with curiosity in his eyes. The enemies behind Luffy all lost to Bartolomeo. His barrier fruit is too cheating in this semi-enclosed space. These people can't exert all their strength, they lose. You are strong. Luffy clenched his fists and looked at Batongmaru, his body tightening. Then, just when everyone thought he was going to fight Batongmaru, he actually admitted defeat. Hey! For his admission of defeat, let alone the surrounding audience are confused. Even Ji Liang and Bartolomeo are confused, and they don't understand why he has to admit defeat. Well, our goal isn't that fruit, it's just here to play. If we should admit defeat, we must admit defeat. We still have to retain our strength to continue sailing, but we can't be forced out of cards here. Luffy Vivi pouted and said seriously. You guy, I thought you would fight to the end with your opponent, you have grown up. Ji Liang said with emotion, if this was Luffy from 2 years ago, he would definitely fight to the end. Not bad, it seems that my 2 years of education have not been in vain. Looking at Luffy, Ji Liang, and Shajirching who were leaving the stage, they smiled. Chapter 853 Evil Extermination Plan. However, I'm still more familiar with the Straw Hat Luffy who used to like to make a scene, naive and reckless. Batongmaru, this guy, didn't everyone say he has a muscle in the sea? How could he take the initiative to admit defeat? Is he really a Straw Hat Luffy? He is also confused, and he has a feeling of white anticipation. Then, he looked at Cracker and Wable, and couldn't help sighing. At the end of the day, is the outcome still between us? Both of us, that means Cracker and himself. As for Wable, in his eyes, he is nothing but a fool, not worth mentioning. On the stage. Count the time, Ain and the others should be coming soon. It's not good, it's a pity, it's going to be burnt soon. Let's use the lives of these big pirates to open a new era. Zephyr looked at Shajirching and others indifferently, and said in his heart. He suddenly conceded defeat, naturally because he needed to recharge his batteries and reserve his strength for the next plan. Zephyr, what is your purpose? You shouldn't tell me that you are here just to attract attention. Zephyr, Shajirching looked at Zephyr's face without letting go of any of his expressions, and then said. Zephyr's expression just now was hideous, relieved, determined, etc. It was extremely complicated. Based on Shazher Ching's understanding of people's hearts, this is a sign before doing something big. Wait, this guy doesn't want to blow up the island. When Shazher Ching was thinking about the 3 endpoints and the explosion rock, he suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Zephyr had the explosive rock, he might not have made this island his target. After all, this is the gateway to a new world. If you destroy this place, the surrounding ocean currents will be chaotic, turning this sea area into a forbidden place for life. In that case, not many pirates will be able to enter the new world in the future. Moreover, the most important thing is that you are also there. If you can blow up yourself, this kind of achievement is huge. With Zephyr's temperament, maybe he really will. Whether this is the case or not, we have to do some preparations and backups. If this is the case, it will be difficult to change your mind temporarily. Shazher Ching hurriedly ordered to go on, and Luffy and his party also followed Trifals to a quiet place to discuss the matter of sniping Kaido of the beasts. Snipe Kaido of the beasts, one is to prove the ability of these supernovas, and the other is to get the text of the road sign in his hand. The 3 are to obtain qualifications and approvals. With our strength, can we really do it? If they hadn't seen Cracker's strength, they might still think that they could succeed, but now, they feel a little empty. Whether you can succeed or not, you must try it. Otherwise, the owner of this island will successfully arrive at Laugh Tale. Trifals said in a solemn voice, and Luffy nodded in agreement. But the reason Luo wanted to attack Kaido, not the other 4 emperors, was because his real target was Doflamingo, who had an important cooperation with Kaido. As the first step in the plan to snipe Kaido, abolishing Doflamingo is his real goal. Abolishing Doflamingo will make Kaido lose a lot of power and make their plan better. After all, Kaido's immature artificial devil fruit factory is within Doflamingo's sphere of influence. On the battle stage, Wable is on the verge of exhaustion. No way, Cracker is just too good at dealing with people like him. Asshole. Damn. Even though Wable kept roaring in anger, in the end, he was exhausted and severely injured and had to admit defeat. Congratulations to the 2 of you, you got the chance to fight in the 3rd round. Then, please take a rest for 2 days. In 2 days, there will be a showdown. Shazher Ching acted as the host again, announced the results of the game, and arranged the follow-up. In 2 days, I'm bound to get this fruit, Marine, don't seek death. Cracker looked at Batong Maru and said arrogantly. Then let's see which of us is more capable, and the capable ones are the ones. Batongwan doesn't know what fear is, and what about Cracker? In this world where strength is respected, there is strength, and there is no need to be afraid of threats from anyone. Then let's see. Cracker walked off the stage with a big knife. Batongwan glanced at Cracker's back and said in his heart, whatever you want. My purpose is not this devil fruit, my real purpose is that person. When he said this, his eyes turned to Zephyr in the stands. What a dangerous and restless uncle, can't you save some snacks? Batongmaru doesn't know Zephyr's past, so he is very troubled by the idea that Zephyr wants to create a terrorist act. Head of Straw Hat, get ready, we should leave, time waits for no one. Trifalco urged Luffy and the others to leave. The battle on Dabalu Island was eye-catching, intense, and huge, but they were done. Next, it's time for them to do their thing. All they need to do now is go to Dressrosa and take down Doflamingo. And just as Luffy and the others were preparing to leave, near Dabalu Island, a huge ship similar to a warship approached the island. Is it finally here, Aang? As the ship approached the port, the phone bug in Zephyr's hand suddenly rang, and a female voice came from there. Mr. Zephyr, everything is done. Hearing this, Zephyr breathed a sigh of relief. Then, let's usher in a new era. Let me light the fireworks of the new era and celebrate the coming era of peace. Zephyr hung up the phone bug, a sharp light flashed in his eyes. He can be so resolute and decisive, without any scruples. It is because there is not a single citizen on the island of Dabalu. There are only all kinds of pirates, vicious people, and it is the gathering place of all kinds of dark people on the sea. Zephyr eliminates them without any psychological burden. As for Marine, the people of the world government, Zephyr has been utterly disappointed with them and will have no mercy on them. Have you started yet? Zephyr did not find that somewhere behind him, Shajirching was standing on the high platform, watching Zephyr say this in his heart. Then, the people he ordered to go out also started to act. Just kidding, it is absolutely impossible for Zephyr to succeed, otherwise, Dabalu Island will be destroyed, and the ball will be over. Chapter 854. You are expected again. Hey, is it my delusion? Why do I feel that the atmosphere is not quite right? Cracker lay in the lounge, frowned suddenly and said, he suddenly felt a palpitations. This feeling makes him very uncomfortable. What's going to happen? Why do I feel this way all of a sudden? Cracker rubbed his chin, thinking like this in his heart, at their level, any omens are traceable. There will never be a harbinger of a crisis for no reason. That means, will something dangerous happen on this island next that will endanger my life? Cracker thought about this, and then he couldn't help but come up with a guess. Could it be that Shajirching wants to be black, and is ready to attack me? It's not that Cracker is boasting about his pride. On Dabalu Island, the only person who can make him feel dangerous is Shajirching. Not even Tezolo can do that. Then it seems that I have to take good precautions, otherwise, I don't know how to die. But if he knew that this danger came from what Zephyr was about to do, wouldn't he regret being on guard against Shajirching? After all, if the person who should be guarded is not guarded, he will put himself in a very disadvantageous passive position. Too bad he doesn't know. Tezolo here. President, you are really a god, everything is as you said, this guy Zephyr really intends to blow up this island. Also, the battle plan is exactly what you said. He draws our attention as a target and allows his students to carry out specific tasks. Today, a huge warship just landed on the shore. Tezolo looked at Shajirching with admiration on his face. In his impression, there seemed to be nothing that Shajirching couldn't do. I just guessed like that, and who knew that I just guessed it right? Okay, don't continue to praise me, the things that should be arranged are arranged. Shajirching stopped Tezolo's flattery and looked at him. This matter must not be sloppy. If one is not careful, Shajirching will be able to retreat without seeing himself. At that time, the loss is really big. Rest assured, Captain, everything has been arranged. I'm 80% sure that Zephyr's plan will never succeed. When he thought of Zephyr's plan that Shajirching had deduced, his scalp tingled a little. If it is true as Shajirching said, Zephyr and the others will put explosive rocks on this Dabalu island. Then it's really over. Explosive rocks, more than 50 bundles, one bundle is one, the power is enough to severely damage Vice Admiral, will have the power comparable to ancient weapons. At that time, all of them will be annihilated in an instant, and there will be no room for resistance. Then, it's time to meet Zephyr. He can't have such a dangerous idea. Shajirching got up and walked out, and Tezolo hurriedly followed Shajirching's instructions and began to counterattack. Dabalu Island is absolutely not to be destroyed. Absolutely not. Luffy here. What's with this ominous premonition? The Straw Hat owner, do you have one? Having already prepared the supplies, Trafal's Luo, who was about to set off, suddenly felt a sudden palpitation for no reason. He couldn't help but sweat with a dignified expression on his face. Danger is approaching. Luffy nodded, holding his head, more serious than ever. At this time, where will the danger come from? Luo looked at the dark night outside the window, only to feel that it was like a monster with a ferocious mouth open, and he wanted to wrap them all in and wipe them out. It won't be related to that person. The figure of Zephyr appeared in Luo's mind. He naturally knew Zephyr and knew some things about him. He feels that Zephyr is likely to do something extreme. If that's the case, it's really troublesome. That's not a master who can easily solve it, unless the master of this island, the 6th Emperor Shajur-Ching, takes action. It's just, Luo thought worriedly, even if they start to act immediately after they realize this, will it be too late? If he had known, Shajur-Ching had already taken protective measures. And, preparations to stop Zephyr have already begun. He probably won't be so worried, and will say, as expected of the 6th Emperor, it really is amazing. Too bad they don't know. Under the order of Shajur-Ching, all the members of the Summer Chamber of Commerce on Dabalu Island took action. Notification, protection, blocking, all aspects of things are going on at the same time. And Shajur-Ching came to Zephyr's residence. Uninvited, please forgive me. When he saw Shajur-Ching come to the door with a jug of wine, Zephyr knew that something might have been leaked. How could someone of Shajur-Ching's level suddenly come to the door? There must be something wrong with him. The 6th Emperor came. Even if I have an idea, what if I am angry, can't I resist? Zephyr sat down and sneered. Shajur-Ching Isho, this is biased. If you refuse, I will leave next time and not disturb your life. Hearing this, Zephyr couldn't help squinting. Why next time, not this time? Is there any exception this time, or is it possible to play word games with me? Next time, forever. It's like tomorrow is an infinite number of times. Do I have to say it? You don't know how special this time is. You are going to blow up my island, do you think I can still pay attention to that? Shajur-Ching sat down, poured 2 bowls of wine, and sighed. You shouldn't choose this place. I'm here, you have no chance of success. Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, Zephyr snorted coldly. You are too conceited, and you look down on yourself too much. Shajur-Ching smiled and couldn't deny it, and then said, however, I have no grudges against you in the past, and no grudges with you recently, so why are you taking your anger on me? I shouldn't have done many bad things. I'm still different from other pirates in the sea. They are the ones who do the bad things. Why am I responsible for it all? In response to Shajur-Ching's questioning, Zephyr snorted coldly. The crows in the world are as black as you are, and you are no better. Even if you haven't done many bad things, it is because of the existence of you people that the sea is so turbulent. The miserable life of the people is naturally your responsibility. In the eyes of this old man, you and Bigumum are just the same raccoon dog. Even if you don't do evil, there is no difference. Hearing this, Shajur-Ching said helplessly, it seems that we can't talk about it. I feel sorry for your experience, but I don't agree with your approach. Zephyr immediately slammed the punch, preempting him. Chapter 855 You Can't Stand a Chance. Bang! Shajur-Ching also punched out, resisting Zephyr's fist. He said, does it have to be this way? Mr. Zephyr, you should know that you are not my opponent. Don't talk too much. When the old man was fighting with Whitebeard and Rocks, you didn't know where to get milk. Boy, don't underestimate the elderly. Zephyr's mechanical arm lit up, and a destructive aura burst out, bringing terrifying power and crashing out. Smash blast. If it were anyone else, they would definitely evade this blow, but unfortunately, the person in front of Zephyr is Shajur-Ching. Ziz. Outrageous thunder and lightning appeared on him, increasing his attributes. Rokushiki, 6 styles 6 kings cannon. Boom. In the sound of the violent explosion, the ground exploded, the dust fluttered, and a sturdy figure slammed backwards and slammed into the building behind. Bah! In the dust, thunder and lightning danced, tearing the dust curtain apart. Shajur-Ching walked out unharmed, brushed the dust off his body, looked at Zephyr who stood up in the distance, and came to him with a swoosh. Boy, just let the horses come over. Seeing Shajur-Ching disappearing in place, Zephyr slammed and punched, and the air roared. The next moment, Shajur-Ching appeared with a whoosh. His fist was covered with an amazing hockey, and he blasted out. Boom! The fists of the two collided with each other in the air, causing a huge turmoil, causing the 4 sides to tremble. Mr. Zephyr, stop, I don't want to kill you. Not killing Zephyr may be one of the few benevolences of Shajur-Ching. The reason is still admiration for the hero Zephyr. This old man won't give up just like that. Boy, don't persuade him anymore. The big deal is death, what's there to be afraid of? As long as the plan works, dying is worth it. Zephyr grinned. Isho, armament hockey wrapped around his left arm has struck. Okay, well, since that's the case, it'll only make you despair first. Shajur-Ching shook his head with a sigh, his eyes changed from black to scarlet, and turned into an eternal kaleidoscope pattern. Illusion gold binding. He glared angrily, and the powerful illusion was branded away, and Zephyr's movements suddenly stagnated. Shajur-Ching immediately drew his sword and passed Zephyr. PFF'd. The pain relieved the illusion. Zephyr's pupils shrank because of the heavy trauma, and he was half kneeling on the ground as a mouthful of blood spurted out. Zephyr doesn't have the terrifying physique of Whitebeard, and he can't maintain his strength. The old man hasn't lost yet. But even in this situation, Zephyr never gave up and still rushed towards Shajur-Ching. Why? Shajur-Ching's whole body was instantly wrapped in thunder and lightning, and he swung out with a knife. Zephyr's overall strength has long since been inferior to what it used to be, and his body is really bad. His physical strength has been unable to keep up with his strength, unable to exert his full strength. If it was Zephyr back then, Shajur-Ching had to enter the fairy mode to suppress him. As it is now, just ordinary thunder and lightning amplification can make him suffer. Bang! Boom! Boom! Zephyr was really desperate. Hockey was almost overloaded, his ability to smash his prosthetic limbs was maximized, and he had a heart-pounding collision with Shajur-Ching like a god of destruction. Even the sky was torn apart because of the two of them fighting. The radius of several thousand meters has become the center of danger, and all people within this range are fleeing frantically. Fortunately, the people of Tezzolo had moved most of them into the underground passage for refuge before that, which was made of fine steel and would not be affected. Lord Zephyr, don't you understand? You are doing completely useless work. Give up. Do you think I, Shajur-Ching, would be so stupid, so that your two students can successfully implement that kind of plan? This Dabalu Island every inch is under my surveillance. Those two students of yours should have been caught by my men by now. Your plan almost failed. You shouldn't have chosen this point in time. This era is too strong, and your power is too weak. Shajur-Ching's knife, as if it has the power of billions, is as violent as thunder, suppressing such a crazy Zephyr without any power to fight back. Boom! Zephyr's feet, and the entire island trembled. Bang! Zephyr's shattered prosthesis made a cracking sound, and he was knocked out several meters. Boom! With another knife, Zephyr vomited blood and went backwards, unable to stop his body at all. Wherever he passed, the earth cracked open. Spectacular and terrifying. Ho, ho, ho! Zephyr gasped violently, looking at Shajur-Ching who was in front of him again. He said in a hoarse voice, I didn't expect your strength to be so strong. It's beyond the old man's expectations. No wonder you are called the strongest man, hee. The old man is conceited. There is no doubt that Zephyr has lost, completely. It's doomed from the beginning. You can't win when you meet me. Shajur-Ching Gujing said without wave, just stating a fact. And around them, the other powerful pirates living on this island are all watching from afar. It's astonishingly powerful, the Thunder Hunter. Cracker looked at Shajur-Ching's back. His face was solemn and he even panicked involuntarily. With that kind of godlike power, speed, and destructive power, Cracker believes that it will only result in a disastrous defeat. That is an unstoppable strength. It really looks like what I looked like back then. I was completely crushed and couldn't breathe at all. Batongmaru sighed with emotion. Luffy, you have been trained by this terrifying existence for the past 2 years. Ji Liang looked at his captain. He could no longer imagine how strong his captain was. Being trained by such a strong man, the strength should be similar. It's not exactly, it's just occasionally trained like this. That guy is too strong. Luffy tilted his head, as if remembering something bad, and said with a pale face. It's a lie, Mr. Zephyr, why did you lose so badly? Is this the strength of the number one person in the world? Damn, how dare you make Teacher Zephyr like this? There are disciples of Zephyr hiding in the dark, angry in their hearts. It was a great show, not bad. It's just a pity that I can't experience that uncle's fist in person. It should be a very interesting thing. Zoro carried the jug and said with a warlike expression on his face. Chapter 856. Okay, I admit it. Shajirching and Zephyr fought. What exactly happened? Trifals said, looking at the two with a very solemn expression. He wanted to know why Shajirching fought with Zephyr. It couldn't be because Shajirching was idle and bored. However, then again, Tezzolo and his men have no trace. Where are they? What did they do? Smoker and others noticed this and couldn't help but wonder in their hearts. This matter, no matter how you look at it, reveals a strange feeling. Boom. Just as everyone was thinking about it, a deafening explosion suddenly came from the distant harbor. I saw a huge mushroom cloud with flames rising into the sky. Even at a distance of more than 10 kilometers, everyone can feel the devastating power. Ha ha ha, it seems that my disciple has succeeded. Seeing this, Zephyr couldn't help laughing, and his eyes showed fighting intent and confidence again. Is it too late? Shajirching frowned as he looked at the distance. Going waves. But just as he was thinking about it, Tezzolo's voice exploded like thunder. Then, a going wave flowed, roaring and covering most of the island. Boom boom boom. The next moment, when the going waves were covered, there were several explosions of trembling islands, but there was only sound and no picture. Then, it was completely silent. You still want to escape? Can you escape? This is your desperate situation. At this time, not far in front of Shajirching and the two, there was a sound of chasing. Then, I saw a man in a flower robe carrying a woman with half of her body covered in blood and fled in a hurry. Behind them, a group of people dressed in strange battle uniforms fired their guns one after another. In an instant, the countless bullets I saw shrouded the man, and the man was so powerful that he actually summoned a piece of vines to resist. But, before he was happy, he heard a beast-like voice, breaking the stream. Hulina, who saw it, swung the big knife, and cut a long hole in his chest with one knife. Catch him now! The group of people in battle uniforms suddenly shouted, and then they even shot a big net to cover the man inside. I thought a fishing net could do it. Before the man in the flower robe could finish speaking, he threw himself on the ground and said in horror, "Sea stone." Ain, Bins. Seeing the two of them, Zephyr couldn't help but crack his eyes. These two are also his students. When he betrayed Marine, the two of them did not hesitate at all, and they always followed him wholeheartedly. It's one of the few things he cares about in this world. Lord Zephyr, it's time for you to admit that you failed. Shajirching looked at Zephyr and sighed. As expected of Shajirching, she's really amazing. I didn't expect that what I planned carefully would be resolved so easily by you. Okay, the old man admits it. However, they are innocent. If you let them go, the old man's head is yours. Zephyr stared at Shajirching and said decisively. Mr. Zephyr, don't. Hearing this, the arrested man, Bins, couldn't help but let out a shrill scream. Bins, it's been like this since time immemorial. Live well with Ain, and Shuzo, you have to live well in the future, understand? Zephyr is like an old man in the twilight, explaining the funeral. That can't be done, Your Excellency Zephyr, you are not qualified to tell me the conditions. But Shajirching's words instantly made Zephyr excited again. What the hell do you want? Zephyr held his heavy body, breathing heavily, heavy like pulling a bellows, rumbling loudly. This question, let's talk about it later. Shajirching stared suddenly. It was an illusion, the technique of vertigo. Zephyr didn't have time to resist. He felt like he was hit with an enhanced version of the Super Conqueror, and fainted out of consciousness. Okay, if you have nothing to do, just leave. Shajirching looked at the crowd watching the excitement and walked away. Tezzolo's subordinates tied Zephyr Wuhua and escorted him down. It's really scary, is that area full of explosive rocks that are close to detonating? Shajirching looked at the area that was frozen by going and thought so in her heart. However, it is really thanks to Tezzolo's ability, otherwise, the loss would have to be doubled. Then, under his command, a group of people began to deal with the follow-up matters. It didn't take long for Tezzolo to appear in front of Shajirching with some lingering fears. He said, "This is really a bunch of lunatics, the kind that don't want to die at all. They buried 50 beams of explosive rocks in the middle of the ground. Fortunately, I dealt with it quickly, otherwise, the whole island would have to be finished." Hearing Tezzolo's words, Shajirching nodded and said, "It's hard work, without you, this matter is really out of control today. I really underestimate their madness. If enough attention had been paid to it, it might not have been this way with enough manpower." This time, Shajirching took it for granted. No manpower is put in place. When he guessed that Zephyr might be operating on Dabalu Island, he still only sent personnel to look for Ain, Bins and the others. And there is no exploding rock removal and cleaning, and no prior prevention, which gives the opportunity to destroy the island. If it wasn't for Tezzolo's quick response, covering the explosive rock with his abilities and isolating it from contact with the air, I really don't know how it would end today. Shajirching alerted himself in his heart, next time it can't be like this again. Being in a high position all the year round made Shajirching's mentality a little slack. I think I can really control everything and look down on all beings. But today, he understood again. Sometimes, no matter how strong an individual is, he is still weak in the face of God, and variables may appear at any time. Well, President, you don't have to be so arrogant. It's amazing to be able to react so quickly and guess what their purpose is and then make a decision. I believe that few people in the ocean can have your level. You know, they came so fast that it was too late for people to react, and there was no warning. And you managed to evacuate the crowd, send people to catch the intruders, and capture the key personnel. With such a record, not to mention the world's best, at least it is much better than the other 6 emperors." Tezzolo laughed and said with a half-tout. Chapter 857 Akainu has learned to be smart. I hope so, then, there are a lot of things waiting for us to do. Shajirching looked at Tezzolo. Can those explosive rocks that haven't been detonated yet be removed? Tezzolo is confident Isho. Of course, the rapids near our islands are the best place to rule them out. No matter how powerful the explosive rock is, it can't raise too many waves if it is put into the sea. Shajirching, well, this matter is the most important thing, I will leave it to you with confidence. It is the most appropriate to do it with your meticulousness. You can go to Nami to discuss a good solution. Excluding explosive rocks in the sea also needs to take into account the influence of climate, ocean currents, and wind. She is an expert in this area and should be able to help you a lot. Tezzolo nodded after hearing this. Even if you don't tell me, President, I will go to her. It would be a waste of talent to leave such talent unused. Shajirching nodded and left. Now it's time for him to deal with Zephyr. Believe in Batongwan, Smoker and these people should be in a hurry now. Marine Headquarters. Have those bastards who stole the blast caught it, Borsellino? Akainu grabbed the phone bug and asked impatiently. Nah, not yet, but I have a breaking news here. Do you want to listen to it? It should be very interesting to you. Kazaru's lazy and weird voice came from the phone bug, causing Akainu to frown. What's the matter? Just now, a huge explosion occurred on Dabalu Island at the New World Gate, and 1/5 of the island was broken. And, on the island, Shajirching, one of the 6 emperors, fought fiercely with Teacher Zephyr. Finally, it ends with the failed arrest of Mr. Zephyr. After that, the people we were looking for were also arrested. So, if we want someone, it seems that we can only go to Shajirching. After listening to Kizaru's words, Akainu's face has become very ugly. Why is Shajirching again? Why would someone like Teacher Zephyr choose to be in that kind of place? Akainu frowned. If someone falls into the hands of Shajirching's bastard, is there still a chance for him to hand it over? It's going to cost a lot. I have to discuss this with Gorosei, 5 elders and the old guy Sengoku. I can't have a headache alone. After being a marshal for so long, Akainu finally understands one thing. Some things should not be carried by one person. They should learn to share, and everyone should have a headache together. Brainstorming not only saves time, not so much headache, but also get a relatively perfect answer. Dabalu Island. It's amazing. I didn't expect to see such interesting things at the entrance to the new world. However, it seems that it is impossible to leave in the past few days, and I have to stay and wait. Trafalzalo looked at the Dabalu Island staff who were undergoing repairs and couldn't help sighing. Ha ha ha, it's great to play for a few more days. Luffy smiled, as if he didn't know what trouble was. So, what will happen next? Marine should be unable to sit still. Cracker and the other pirates thought in their hearts. Anyone who knows Zephyr wants to know, what's next for Marine? Zephyr is their Marine's chasing officer, but now, he has caused so much damage on Dabalu Island, and was arrested by Shajirching. Will Shajirching let people go? I don't think so. Then, what happens next between Shajirching and Marine will be quite interesting and exciting. I can't believe that someone dares to make trouble on Shajirching's territory. That uncle is really brave. Everyone else admired Zephyr's courage. The last person to do this, called Waldo, is now alive and dead. Now there is another one, and it is more fortunate than it is to think about it. In their impressions, Shajirching is an out-and-out smiling Shura. This kind of serious thing happened to him. He certainly couldn't forgive the perpetrator. What will you do with the rest, Shajirching? I'm really looking forward to it. In a certain room, a member of the Revolutionary Army thought like this. Shajirching is actually very similar to the development line of their Revolutionary Army. It's all about wooing others. However, the Revolutionary Army is armed to break the oppression and regain the people's hearts in spirit and system. But the Summer Chamber of Commerce is different. He is the first to change the material living standards of the people. Then, provide a stable environment to break down oppression and inequality. In the end, it was a matter of course to swallow the entire kingdom, and then implement a new system. Compared with the straightforward, simple, and powerful actions of the Revolutionary Army, the actions of the Summer Chamber of Commerce can be said to be silent and subtle. But this method is the most brilliant. Overwhelmed by power, nothing is broken. The Revolutionary Army's strength to break it down is inferior. But there is no way for the Revolutionary Army to copy the route of the Summer Chamber of Commerce, because it is not as rich as the Summer Chamber of Commerce. The next day. The fireworks last night were really dazzling. Ha ha ha, I really frightened the boss. I really didn't expect that there are such terrifying weapons in this world. It's terrifying. Fortunately, it was stopped. Otherwise, if it exploded on the island, we would all die. Everyone on the island is talking about it, and the expressions on each face are different. Some are excited, some have lingering fears, and some are even more worried. I don't know where this weapon came from. If there is such a weapon, as long as it can be developed on a large scale, what world government, Marine? Even it's just a trifle. There is a pirate who thinks so wildly, and his eyes are full of yearning. Perhaps it is because this weapon is too powerful that the news was banned, and no news has come out. Some people thought so in their hearts. It's amazing. The fireworks last night were so spectacular that they knocked me under the bed. Luffy, a stubborn person, seems to have only interesting things in his eyes. In this regard, Karina and Trafalco are very helpless. With such a person on the stall, I really don't know if I am lucky or unlucky. It would be great if I could get this kind of power, so we don't need to be afraid of this fellow Shajirching. Cracker's eyes flashed brightly, and he planned a crazy plan in his heart. However, before that, I have to claim my prize. Today was supposed to be the day he fought Zephyr. But Zephyr was caught in trouble. Then, there is no doubt that Cracker won and became the biggest beneficiary. Chapter 858 President, you can take it easy. Although it's not a very powerful fruit, the secret behind this fruit is what I really want. Artificial devil fruit technology. If you can get it, that would be great. Cracker knows that after he returns this time, their pirate group should also take action and establish a cooperative relationship with the Summer Chamber of Commerce. There should be a good deal on artificial devil fruit technology. I really want to have that fruit, if only give it to me. When this cat fruit was handed over to Cracker, I don't know how many people said with envy in their hearts. It's a pity that they neither get it nor dare to grab it. After all, the person who got this fruit is behind another 6 emperors, Big Mum. They can't afford to offend. After the events in the arena were over, the ban on Dabalu Island was lifted immediately, and all the pirates who wanted to leave could also go out to sea. Go, Sonny, we're going to Dressrosa. Among the people who went out to sea, the Straw Hat Luffy was the most active and happiest. But within half a day, all the gods who had gathered on Dabo Road Island had all left one after another. Dabalu Island has regained its short-term calm again. Repair work is still in progress. And in the pillar in the center of the island. Is this the blast rock? It's so beautiful and heart-pounding. Looking at the explosive rocks that are sealed in solid glass, like purple gems. Shajir-Ching seemed to be able to see them, breathing out a dangerous breath. He couldn't help sighing. As the saying goes, the more beautiful things are, the more dangerous they are. Now, don't deceive me. Tezzolo, I believe that some people will be very excited when they see this thing. A smile appeared on Shajir-Ching's face. However, I have to thank them for sending me such good materials. This time, our battle robots have stronger combat weapons. Tezzolo was surprised when he heard this. Are you going to study explosive rocks? The power of this thing is not ordinary. Just a bunch of it is enough to level a town. President, think twice. If there is no accident, it will be fine. If there is an accident, it will be incredible. The loss is unimaginable. Don't worry, I will consider this matter slowly and will not implement it so quickly. Explosive rock is too influential, and if you conduct research casually, there will definitely be all kinds of accidents. Hearing Shajir-Ching's words, Tezzolo couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. His president is still wise. Tezzolo, next, just wait quietly for Marine to come to the door. Marine headquarters is not far from here. I don't know what conditions they will offer. Shajir-Ching smiled. Maybe Marine is happy now. After all, I helped them eradicate a serious problem. However, they should not be willing to let Zephyr be in our hands. Because he has too many secrets about Marine in his head, the people from the world government should be unable to sit still. Tezzolo, then just wait and see. They should have news soon. Shajir-Ching nodded, and immediately, a playful smile appeared on his face. However, there is indeed no shortage of bold people in this sea. Someone dares to take action against my subordinates and rob my belongings. I really have to admire his courage. Tezzolo clearly saw the murderous intent on Shajir-Ching's face. The strong chill was enough to wipe out everything. He opened his mouth and said, "The president is talking about the former Shichibukai wolf genes. He is indeed a bold person. It has been a long time since no one dared to attack us. He probably doesn't know anything about the power of our summer chamber of commerce, though. What about joining the beast pirates? It doesn't provide him with any protection. On the contrary, he is seeking his own death." Some words, it is natural to say, confident and proud. This is not because Tezzolo looks down on people with pride, but because this is the truth. This is the strength and heritage of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Shajir-Ching, Enel has already dealt with this matter. I believe it will take a long time to have a result. After that, he left to deal with other things. Gweens can guarantee that he is doing this thing now. Definitely the most daring he's ever had. Bring the important items and materials snatched from the Summer Chamber of Commerce's capital to join the beast pirates. In this way, there is no need to continue to drift on the sea. More importantly, in the future, there will be the 100 beast pirates to rely on, and they can do anything wrong. Gweens would never have dared to do this if he could. Everyone in the sea knows that if you offend anyone, you can't offend Shajirching. Offending him is tantamount to offending the 3 sea emperors, and will be hunted down by the highest standards. Not only that, but it will be monitored by the whole world. Because Summer Chamber of Commerce partners all over the world. All your whereabouts are almost exposed to the eyes of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. You never know where the Summer Chamber of Commerce will be. However, Guinness was really desperate and was forced to help. His miserable life begins after being delisted from Shichibukai a year ago. A group of beautiful wives ran away with people. Brother was ruined. He was the only bachelor left, being hunted down by a group of people. For a whole year, he hadn't had a few days of his birthday. He has a deep understanding of what it feels like to be bullied by a dog when a tiger falls in Pyongyang. As a result, being driven to a desperate situation, he couldn't care so much anymore, and decided to give it a go. He infiltrated a base of the Summer Chamber of Commerce in the first half of the Great Route. After stealing the materials and some important technologies, they fled to the New World Beast Pirates. And now, he's almost here. He can already see the people sent by the Beast Pirates to greet him. Wait for me, those who bullied me. Next, I want you all to pay the price. Gweens couldn't help but let out a smug and happy smile. Behind him, a group of scientific researchers were kidnapped. These people are the guarantee of his status. Oh, yes, are you sure you'll have that opportunity? At this moment, a sound with a slightly lazy voice sounded, and Gweens couldn't help but fry instantly and shouted in panic, "Who is it?" He turned around and saw a lazy man with long earlobes and a thunder drum behind his back, sitting in the stern, looking at him playfully. Seeing this man, Guinness couldn't help gasping in horror. He only felt that his body was a little out of his control, and he was completely wrapped in thick fear. Chapter 859 I Mourn for You. This kind of dress, in addition to Sky Island, God, Enel, who else can? Thor Enel, how could you come so fast? Gweens couldn't believe it. He was running at full speed along the way, and he never stopped for a moment. Moreover, when he invaded, he even destroyed the communication network. According to his estimation, it would take 2 or 3 days for the Summer Chamber of Commerce to receive the news of his invasion. At that time, he had already joined the Beast Pirates. However, why did Enel come so quickly? This unscientific. I have to say, you are very smart, and you also know how to destroy communication networks and block messages. Let us only know about this yesterday. Enel said with great admiration, and then his expression changed, shaking his head sympathetically. It's a pity, you underestimate the strength of our Summer Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, the ships will never catch up with you. At that time, you joined the Beast Pirates, and things were going to be troublesome. Enel was about to continue, but was interrupted by Gweens, who asked sharply, how did you get here? Enel took out his ears and calmly said, it's very simple, sea train. Sea train, but... Gweens thought of something at once, but before he could say anything, Enel interrupted, of course, the sea train doesn't lead here. So, I'm here again in a flying battle droid. Otherwise, it won't delay the time and let you come to the door of the Beast Pirates. Flying combat robots. Hearing Enel's words, Guinness was stunned. That's almost enough. Gweens, are you going to do it yourself, or are you going to do it yourself? Enel stood up, looked down at Gweens, and asked contemptuously. What about Enel? The Beast Pirates are behind me now. You are not alone. Do you think you will be the opponent of the Beast Pirates? I would also like to thank you for delivering it yourself, for giving me so much credit for nothing. If that idiot Shajir knew that you were captured, you must have a very wonderful face. Your Summer Chamber of Commerce will be embarrassed. You Enel will also be a disgrace to the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Hee, that kind of thing must be wonderful. Hearing Guinness's words, Enel couldn't help laughing. Do you know what a fool is talking about? You are in this state now. I feel so sorry for you. Can I be so many opponents of the Beast Pirates? Do you think the Beast Pirates have the courage to attack me? Besides, do you think I will break into the Beast Pirates alone? No matter how arrogant I am, I can't do it. The 100 Beast Pirates are one of the 6 emperors. I know better than you how strong he is. Just as he finished speaking, a group of people appeared behind him. All of them are capable of flying. And a piece of battle robot landed on the ship. On the sea behind them, the pirate ships with the flags of the Summer Chamber of Commerce also showed their stature, fangs and sharp edges, showing them all. The group of flying capable people fell and all returned to human form. It's just that more or less there are some animal forms left over on his body. However, this is not ugly, on the contrary, it adds a lot of beauty to them. Queens, it's sad that you are also Shichibukai, but you have no such pattern. One of the big men with flying ability said to Giants contemptuously. Kulik, you actually joined the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Looking at the person who spoke just now, his face was extremely gloomy. Joining the Summer Chamber of Commerce will be beneficial to me, why not? Do you continue to be bullied by you? The man named Kulik couldn't help laughing when he heard the words, and Gweens who retorted was speechless. Gweens, how, do you still want to resist? Enel looked at Gweens and asked proudly. Damn, is there really no way? Gweens looked at Enel and the others, who had grown tremendously in the team, and couldn't help showing a decided look. Yo, isn't this Enel? It's so arrogant to break into our territory. Do you think our beast pirates are easy to bully? If you are acquainted, retire quickly. Gweens is our man now. If you dare to harm him, I hope you will be mentally prepared. At this time, the voice of the Plague Queen came from behind Gweens. Guinnesston could not help but breathe a sigh of relief, as if he had found a savior. Then, he showed a proud look. Enel, it seems that you can't take me away. Yo, isn't this my defeated queen? Why, I want to be beaten again. Enel looked at it and couldn't help laughing. You beast pirates are really, the captain didn't learn a lesson, and then we were almost slaughtered by our president for a drink. Why, you people below me don't remember a lesson and want to repeat the same mistakes. I wouldn't mind a thunderstruck Brachiosaurus package if I wanted to. As soon as these words came out, the queen's face turned black all of a sudden. Brachiosaurus, isn't that him? Enel, don't give me too much. Queen drank violently, and her angry eyes could burn everything. Incompetent and furious, the word the president said should describe a person like you, queen. But Enel did not restrain at all, but continued to ridicule. Asshole. Queen immediately rushed towards Enel. Enel smiled when he saw this, and his whole body was shooting thunder and lightning, and the thunder gun in his hand rushed out. Bang! An ear-piercing, intense explosion blasted the entire sea, and violent thunder and lightning raged out, tearing the sea apart. Boom! The two quickly and fiercely collided for several tricks, and the sea was suddenly tumbling because of the two of them, which is amazing. Go back, Queen, you don't need to be ashamed in front of me with your strength. Enel's whole body erupted with more powerful thunder and lightning, and the going gun in his hand seemed to have the power to open the sky, and it slammed the queen back. The whole air is turbulent. After the queen got off the boat, she took a few steps back before she stabilized her body. There is still a trace of current swimming around, exuding a burnt smell, and Vivi's breath is a little short. His state looked quite bad, and he didn't speak for a long time. Why, I was stunned by being beaten. Enel couldn't let go of such a good opportunity, and jokingly said. The people of the 100 Beasts pirates who listened directly were suffocated, and their faces were all red with anger. But they couldn't refute it, What Enel said was the truth, wasn't it? But it's not that Queen doesn't want to talk, it's that she was really electrocuted. Enel's lightning strike strength, whoever touches it knows. That is simply not the strength that humans can have. Armament hockey can't stop it. Chapter 860. The same as the 6 emperors, there are also high and low. Then what is Gween's? It's too late to turn around and apologize to me, otherwise, only death awaits you. On this sea, no one can escape safely after offending our summer chamber of commerce. Even if they are the same 6 emperors, that's not enough, understand. Enel looked at Gween's, who had a pale face again, with a condescending tone. Enel, don't you think you're going too far? The position you are standing now is the territory of our beast pirates. Being so arrogant on our territory, aren't you afraid that there will be no return? Queen looked at Enel, the voice seemed to be coming from the enemy's throat, low and terrifying. Ha ha ha, have you come and gone? Enel had a scornful smile on his face as if he had heard a good joke. Okay, then you let me try again and again and see if my president will let your Captain Kaido die again. At that time, the 6 emperors may become 5 emperors. At that time, do you think you will regret letting me go back and forth? Hearing Enel's unbridled provocative words, the popularity of the beast pirates couldn't help shaking, and his face turned red. But in the end, they all restrained themselves and ended with the sentence, how can it be repaired? What Enel said just now really touched their sore spot and reminded them of the despair that day. Their captain, Kaido, was almost killed by Shajir-Ching's sword. So far, they still don't know that Shajir-Ching let go that day and let Kaido's life go. Or Shajir-Ching's strength is just that, so he can only recreate Kaido like that. But there is no doubt about it. Kaido can't beat Shajir-Ching. Regardless of whether the beast pirates recognize it or not, this fact is recognized by the sea. Yes, if Enel is imprisoned, and Shajir-Ching, the Death Star, comes to the door, aren't they finished? That's a man who can't even stop the sea. There is absolutely no ability to fear the problem of seawater. You can fight by sea, land and air. If you have nothing to say, I will take that person away. Enel said and walked towards Gween's. The latter looked at Enel in despair and wailed, no, you have to save me, I am your member. Queen. Facing the Queen's silence, Gween's gave up completely, he showed a miserable smile, what is despair? Gween's felt that the person who could save him was right behind him, but he didn't dare to save him. That's it. See you then, Queen, and everyone from the beast pirates. Enel would not resist at all, or Gween's, who had lost hope, was bound with seastone handcuffs. Then, back to sailing. Queen sir, do we just watch them on our territory and take our people away? It was not until Enel left that the people from the 100 beast pirates group behind the Queen spoke, quite unwilling. What else can I do? Rush to grab it. I'm afraid things will get worse then. Queen sighed unwillingly. If I knew this earlier, I shouldn't have agreed to accept Queen's, and now it won't be so embarrassing. Then, they're back. The mere beast pirates dare to talk nonsense with us. Really, they don't even know how high the sky is. Enel's ship, the people from the Summer Chamber of Commerce scorned. Having said that, you really can't underestimate them. After all, they are the forces of the 6 emperors, and they should be taken seriously. If Drought Jack or Firebitter came today, things would be different. We are fortunate that the Queen of Plague came, and this went so smoothly. Hearing Enel's words, Guinness doubted life. Dare to be affectionate, he chose Plague Queen's house to accept him, and he chose the wrong one. That's what got me into this situation. It's a pity that there is no regret medicine to eat now. And the news of the confrontation between the 2 pirate groups also spread rapidly on the sea. My God, is the Summer Chamber of Commerce so strong? You can be so arrogant when you directly grab people on the site of the beast pirates. Tisk tisk tisk, it is indeed the power of the strongest man, but the confidence of the people below is different. Then Gweens is also unlucky. It's not good to offend anyone, and to offend Shajirching. Isn't it delicious to join the Summer Chamber of Commerce? There are various discussions on the sea, and they can't help but admire the strength of the Summer Chamber of Commerce. Even the 100 Beast Pirates, who are also the 6 Emperors, dare not face its edge. And the people of the Summer Chamber of Commerce are really proud. Listen, the Beast Pirates don't dare to be presumptuous in front of their own forces. What a glory this is. However, those people in the first half of the Great Route are really stupid. They grabbed something and grabbed the Summer Chamber of Commerce. They were courting death. Who said it wasn't? Gweens unknowingly attacked the Summer Chamber of Commerce, and they thought they could take advantage of the chaos and rushed to plunder. Did they really think they could escape the pursuit of the Summer Chamber of Commerce? It's all right now, they've all been arrested, and the next step is basically free coolies, serving our Summer Chamber of Commerce all the time. What they said was something else. It happened 2 days ago. When Enel went to the New World to capture Gweens, in the first half of the Great Route, a group of pirates rushed to the island that Gweens had plundered and made a second snatch. They thought they were concealed enough that as long as they ran fast, they wouldn't be exposed. As everyone knows, from the moment they entered the island, they were on the sniper list. Jabun, the captain of a small pirate group in the first half of the Great Route, has a bounty of only 64 million Baileys. Originally, he also wanted to loot the one called Caesar Island. But in the end, the fear of the Summer Chamber of Commerce stopped him. At the beginning, he regretted his cowardice, and when he saw other colleagues carrying all kinds of gold and silver treasures, he was really jealous. But within a few hours, he began to rejoice at his cowardice. Because, right in front of his eyes, a captain of a pirate group who was showing off to him was easily killed by a robot that came suddenly. And the captain of the pirate group has a bounty of 80 million Bailey. Putting it in the first half of the Great Route is also considered a good strength. At that moment, looking at the robot with a similar appearance to Shajirching, Jabwen couldn't help but have a feeling of escaping from death and thinking of heaven. He knew that if he went to that island, he would end up the same as this pirate group. In front of him, he was ruthlessly suppressed by the robot, and then destroyed. A pirate group that could travel vertically and horizontally in the first half of the Great Route was destroyed so easily. It's so simple.